Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sector 1, Round 3 of Season 10. Tonight we have our Category 2 Group A and B drivers racing at Brands Hatch, arguably one of the most iconic racetracks in the world. Some say the unofficial home of Ironheart Racing with a resident ghost. Also, the format tonight is special, featuring a one-shot qualifying session on the shorter Indy circuit, a 10-minute sprint race on the Indy circuit, followed by a 31-lap feature race on the Grand Prix circuit. So first up, we'll see Group B brought to you by Adelaide Ceramic Coatings, followed by Group A brought to you by JSM Accounting Group. Valued sponsors of Sector 1, who together with APR Automotive and Boxer Beauty bring the racing to you every Sunday night. My name is The Banker, and joining me in comms tonight for the Group B race is Captain Muffin. Welcome, mate. How are you?
Oh, absolutely sensational there, Banker. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone at home. Hope you're all doing very well here on this Sunday night. And yes, we are here in the official, unofficial home of Ironheart SimSport. Ghost is already frothing at the lips, just coming into this track here, watching the stands. And look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. In the words of Big Kev, I'm excited.
Absolutely. And how are the guys, insights from their practice and pace? They're holding it all together?
Absolutely, I think so. I think definitely got a few people watch tonight just based on the practice. The boss man, Boss 260 GT, from last week's performance at Laguna is definitely looking to back that up again. Unfortunately, couldn't get the best result due to a pit issue on his end, but he's been showing some good pace. I've also seen as well Petey Pops and Cruisin'. Also showing some really great pace, especially on the medium tyre. So for that GP race, the big one, that should be really good for them.
Excellent. So what we might do is have a look at Brands Hatch. And the format for tonight. So Brands Hatch, 3.916 kilometres long, opened in 1950, has been around forever and located in Kent in the UK. 9 turns for the Grand Prix circuit, 6 turns for the shorter Indy circuit, and that is 1.944 kilometres long. As I said before, tonight's format is special, and it's the first for Sector 1. So qualification, we're running it on the shorter Indy circuit. That joins Bratham Straight, the main straight, just around Surtees Corner. The duration will be 5 minutes. Each driver will start with 8% fuel, and they have one flying lap to set a time. So essentially, out lap, flying lap, in lap. They need to closely watch that session timer. It's a short session and a very short follow-on time. So, and the other part they need to do is just be mindful of blue flags. It will get a bit hectic out there, so they don't want to be impeding other drivers on their hot lap. So race 1, it'll be a 10-minute sprint, also on the Indy circuit, 40% fuel, which should give the guys more than enough to have an absolute race. They're not allowed to refuel. And importantly, the finishing order will determine the starting order for race 2. Points will be awarded to the top 8. And the race 2 feature will be 31 laps on the Grand Prix circuit. And that will be an absolute ripper. Tyre wear at 3 tyre compounds. Racing softs and mediums are available. There is no mandated compound. Fuel rate set at 4. Refuel rate for the feature race at 2 litres per second. And no mandatory pit stops. So we'll move on to strategy. This race strategy is really around the feature race, and we've sort of picked out 3 main strategies, and there's variations of each. But firstly, a one-stop with a combination of mediums and softs. This can vary as to what you use first and when you change. A good grid position may see you on softs from the outset to sprint away. Alternatively, that's sprint home on softs, depending on track placement. Second strategy we'll talk about, one-stop mediums all the way. The mediums are a very solid race tyre in this car, and the strategy allows a lot of options as to when you pit, gain clean air, and just generally look for track position, undercut, that sort of thing. And thirdly, probably for the first time this season, two-stop with softs all the way. The softs tyres can provide a lap time advantage, and when you combine it with the shorter pit duration at this track, it's definitely a possibility. But one thing that it absolutely requires is a mistake-free run. And I guess the elephant in the room is the fuel strategy that you employ across any of those strategies. So fuel use versus lap time, there's a tipping point there. But there is one thing for certain, with a 2 litre refuel rate, there is time to save in the pits. Your thoughts, Captain Muffin?
Yeah, look, definitely plenty of sort of like strategy variations and options available for tonight's racing. Look, I'm already sort of tipping my hat into the quote-unquote alternate strategy they run the two-stop. It is very high risk, it does require a perfect run, and every time you come up on traffic, you have to make quick work of them as cleanly and efficiently as possible. But I feel it makes your race more exciting. Across all the strategies, fuel saving is going to be... It's going to be hit and miss. If you fuel save on the wrong spots, you're going to be costing yourself time on the straights, in which that benefit you'll find in the pits, you'll just lose as soon as you get it. So it's going to be a very fine line here to try and make that work. But overall, I think we should see a few options from the guys on track tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they execute and how well they do it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely on point. That fuel save, there's 4 reasonably long straights that if you are running at a reduced throttle setting, you're going to be caught. And the corners here are very fast and flowing, so you need to carry that speed, of which the Group 4 Renault is very capable of doing. All right, so what we'll do now is have a quick look at the points after round 2. So we'll cover Group A first on the left, just go through the top 5. So we've got Big J on 62 points, the Stranger on 53, Felix on 53. So that's the podium. 9 points between P1 and P3. Positions 2 and 3 are tied, as you can see from there, and then very congested. P4 to P11 in the points table, there's only 11 points between them. And if you throw to Group B, it's even tighter. So we've got Keza sitting on the top spot on 24 points, the Good Doc on 22, Rudsey 22. So again, this one's 2 points between P1 and 3. P2 and 3 are tied. Actually, P2 to P5 are tied, and there's only 8 points down to P11 from P2. So extremely tight fight. And tonight, having 8 points on offer for the sprint round, points for the first 8 positions in the sprint round, plus a 31-lap feature race, it is a really critical night to the guys for their championship. So that is the strategy and points side of things. Let's have a quick look at the chat comments and participant. And we have got the Ghost, who got an honourable mention in the intro, greatest racetrack in the world. We got Jim Bob, Deborah, Budsy, Brocky 05 Sim Racing, and Nemesis. And we've got Rebs. So I'm sure there'll be more, and throw in your comments through the chat, and we'll see if we can pick them up. But I think it's time to we've got the formalities out of the way. Let's get Cat 2 Group B qualifying, brought to you by Adelaide Ceramics. Captain Muffin, if you can hit the button, we'll get them on their way.
I reckon that's the best idea you've had all night there, Banker. The big, I'll just say red it is, just a basic red button tonight, nothing too extreme. But yeah, let's push it, get this qualifying underway. And I just want to say as well that I am contractually obligated to say this is the best racetrack in the world, whether I believe it or not.
All right, so just a small delay while we get the guys on the way. All right, everyone should have the qualifying screen there ready to go.
Yeah, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's only a one-shot qualifying for you ever on the grid tonight. Everyone will be out on track at the same time, so it's going to be their duty and responsibility to make sure they can find some clean air and get a good lap in, because there's no second chances here for this qualifying session. Once you got one, that's it.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I mean, they've got 5 minutes, an in-lap and out-lap, but I guess do you position up to get a bit of a slipstream, or do you give yourself a gap where you can manage your own pace for that lap? It's critical, no mistakes.
Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss, I reckon, all around. The slipstream will be beneficial for the big main straight there in these cars, but if you pick someone that you've got a small or any sort of pace advantage over, they're going to really hinder you through the few corners of this Indy circuit. By the looks of it, everyone's getting on with it straight away, so this actually might be a very quick qualifying session here for us in the commentary box. We probably actually should run through the grid now, I think about it, shouldn't we?
Yep, if you want to call them from P1 on the track.
Sounds like a plan to me. First up on track, Petey Pops for a Doghouse Racing. I believe it's the correct terminology, but correct me if I'm wrong. Driver number 97 there, sponsored by PWR. Cruising there in P2 for Switchblade Sim Sports. Gamesman on the side of that car. Very infamous, very well-known sponsor in the Sector 1 sim racing world. Rudsey in P3 for Black Rose Racing there. One of the sort of newer teams on the grid, so to speak, but been here for a few seasons now. Killer on the loose there. P4 for Lightning Motorsport with Merlin on the side. Nice green car, which I think because does make a good livery. Love a look at that. Keza for Grp A B Sim Racing in P5 with Box Beauty on the side of that car. Lovely to see. Good Doc in P6 for Blacklight Motorsport, the leader of Blacklight Motorsport, in fact, with tyre power on the side of the car there. And as people start to cross the line, I'm going to find it hard to keep track of people now.
Yeah, we've got a very short lap.
Yeah, we absolutely do, but I'll just try and go through the grid as best I can. Yep. Currently in P5 now, we have the Boss 260 GT for Blacklight Motorsport. Currently it's in P5 with his lap done and dusted. Rainbow Sox there in P4 for Ironheart SimSport, best team on the grid, possibly, maybe, not too sure. Who's P4, great lap there from him. We have Malevolent One there in P6 for Thunder Esports, that is. Just read the rear bumper, that was very convenient, thank you for that. Keza there in P7. I'm not sure if I got him yet, but I hope if I didn't, I'll cover him now. Currently P7 to 47.7 for Boxer Beauty, BSR Sim Racing. Rudsey, I believe we covered for Black Rose there. Debrev for CP Motorsports, currently in P9 with a 48.1 as his time. Pruski for APR Motorsport. Currently P10 there with a 48.4. Blind Man in P11 with a 48.5 for Switchblade Sim Sports there. Gamesman on the side of the car, same as Cruiser. And Good Doc already in P12. P13 is Archangel for Symmetry Sim Sports there with a 48.7. And we've got 1.5 minutes to go on qualifying, but everyone's done and dusted as it appears.
Yeah, I'm just that is a very short lap, and these guys wasted no time. So ignore the timer on the race screen, guys. 6 minutes, 6 minutes at the top. It's down the bottom, 3:49. So we've got just over a minute to go, but it looks like, who have we got on track? We've got Petey Pops, but I'd say they're just circulating because he's done his lap.
Yep, and look, if they cross that start finish line again, I think the stewards might start clicking their pens, so they better be careful what they do here. My speculation is that if they sort of time it right to cross the finish line as the qualifying session ends, it should hopefully shrink the timer down and get us to the race sooner. Which I don't think the stewards care too much about that. No one's going to complete another lap as it appears. Yeah, so everyone's following the rules nicely. No one's doing anything wrong, which is lovely to see.
Yeah,
but currently,
yeah, just even rolling around, that lap is really quick.
Yeah, 46.9 from Petey Pops. That is mental. Well done there from the Doghouse driver.
Yep, and just P2 cruising 0.168 behind, very, very tight. P3 Killer at 0.243. So what's that? 3 tenths basically between first and third. We will
3
have
tenths between first and fifth, really.
First and fifth, yes. So in about 2 seconds, this should all wind up.
Absolutely. Got one car, Archangel there across the line to finish his qualifying session. He does not set another time. That's all good. But currently we have another 15 seconds of the qualifying continuation time. But yeah, no, there you go. Your grid for the sprint race. That was very sharp, very quick qualifying session. That was hard to keep up.
Something we're absolutely not used to. So once we get this closed, I'll pull up the lobby results.
There you go. Results have been confirmed by the people at Brands Hatch there. We have our grid for the sprint race here at the Indy Circuit.
Excellent. So leading off in P1 in the sprint race will be Petey Pops, as said, 46.965. That is a very solid lap. 0.168 back is Cruising. Killer 0.243 back will take up P3, and finalised the second row on the grid. We got Rainbow Sox 3.3 tenths back. That's a really good time for Rainbow Sox in his first season. Also the Boss, again, very, very close in P5. Malevolent One, 7 tenths back in P6. P7, Keza, 7 tenths back. Rudsey, that's 9 tenths back in P8. And we've got Dobrev, Prua, VTX Blind Man, GT the Good Doc, and Nemesis. But pretty tight fields, certainly across the top 8 runners. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, look, while the session was short, the stories to tell are going to be long here, I reckon. Very sort of tight top 5 there, so I reckon those guys are going to be fighting hard and, well, for the whole 10 minutes of the sprint race here. Is a little bit of an air gap between the sort of top 5 and the bottom 5 of the 10. But overall, though, everyone seems to be relatively close to each other. Definitely, everyone should be stay within slipstream range throughout the laps here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So really, like, it's going to be challenging to get a pass done here at the circuit. There is not a lot of real passing opportunities unless your name is Ghost. But I reckon if any of these guys can sort of force their opponent into a mistake, they should be able to easily sneak on past. But only one way to find out if I'm talking truth or talking out of my rear end. So I reckon we should get these guys underway.
Absolutely. Let's get that button hit, and we'll keep an eye on probably the hardest turn on the track to do quick is turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend, and also Surtees, which, whilst traditionally a tighter left-hander, this time is a bit of a left and then a right on the Clark curve. Not an easy corner to hold your corner speed. So just give me 1 sec to...
Cars just lined up on the circuit there, just waiting for the light sequence to start. And we're racing here at Brands Hatch. Yes. Everyone seems to get a good launch off the line. P Pops holds the inside line, cruising, trying to hold around the outside, but it's going to be very challenging. The next 2 right-handers are going to go against him. Killer makes a bit of contact with Cruisin'. Managed to get the best of him there. Holds the inside line with Boss riding behind there. Cruisin' might lose 2 spots from that.
And still 3 wide into Druids. That's a big ask there.
That very much is so. Everyone still seems to be on track. We'll keep on racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Starting to go single file now. Malevolent One's in the sand. In the back row.
Wide, but he's managed to bring it back on the inside, and he's got a great run, and this is where you have the left-right switch back to Clark curve and back onto the main straight, and there you have it. That is a very quick lap, circa probably 47 seconds or thereabouts on a normal race lap.
More or less, give or take. We also had Dobrev there going through the turn 3 complex. Unfortunately found the sand there, managed to regather it, but currently down in 12th place. I think Archangel must have also had an issue that I've missed, sorry ladies and gentlemen. We're currently Killer on the loose after starting in P3 that was, now in the lead of the race. He's got nearly 7/10 of a second on Petey Pops. He's being followed closely behind by Cruisden. Rudsey in the 4th, Rainbow Sox to 5th, the Boss down to 6 after he's got a qualifying session. Oh, we have Rudsey's off! Rudsey spun! Oh no!
Just see if we can catch that, which position he comes on in.
Yep, he's down the back of the grid now. He's down in P13.
We'll see if we can catch that.
Yep, I want to double check that myself, but I've got a feeling that may have been assisted there. I think that might have been Rainbow Sox a little love tap, accidental or not. I'm going to have to double check that. Could be wrong.
Yeah, wrong screen, but we might be able to just get a hold of it. There he is. Yeah, just oversteer as that switch back to the right.
Got move here into turn 2 here. Boss gets a move done on Rainbow Sox now to P4 now. Blind Man also wants pieces of the action there. Tries to displace Rainbow Sox to P6. Rainbow Sox still has the inside line for turn 3. Manages to hold it, keeps the position there, but is well and truly under threat from Blind Man in P6. Killer in front there, still holding his lead. Now out to 9/10 of a second.
And Petey Pops has built a bit of a gap there at 1.3 seconds back to cruising, but it's as you can see, a pace like this, a lot of concentration over a very short lap.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a battle pack back there. I think it's around Keza. We'll have a look at it, and certainly is too wide.
Rainbow Sox has definitely made a mistake somewhere, now down to P12. Something's gone horribly wrong for him. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, Keza's just had a little bit of trouble there on a couple of corners. He's lost 3 spots. But yeah, in this type of racing, 10 minutes, there is absolutely no room for error. It's a hard fight back. You don't have a lot of time to do it. Also, too, guys, the viewers watching, race timer is on that bottom left-hand side of the screen. So we're 3 minutes 15 in.
Currently about 3 minutes 15 with a 47-second lap. I'd speculate we're probably on for another 8 to 9 laps from here, if my rough math is right, give or take.
Yep, and we've got the boss very racy here with cruising. Just 1/10 between.
Yeah, battle for the last step on the podium here in this sprint race. Boss, he's got time to do it, but if he messes around, that time's going to fade away quickly. There's also Petey Pops has got to the back of Killer here. Petey Pops might just need some time to settle in.
In car with the boss, this will show that left-right flop. And then around Clark Curve onto Bratham Straight. And yeah, the boss holding really good speed through that corner. So cruising, we'll see what happens here. This is, as you get in Paddock Hill Bend, this is a really hard corner. If you don't get that apex nailed, it's semi-blind. And the boss is turning in tighter. He'll give him the inside run up into Druids.
Yeah, boss there looking to move the inside. Cruising covers it off. Lovely job there. Yeah, one thing about this track we didn't talk about initially before we started qualifying is the nature of it. It sort of makes in a sense that trail braking is your best friend. Every corner here is sort of like long, drawn out, and you sort of have to turn while braking. So being able to modulate that brake and throttle in your sort of steering wheel is going to be the difference between moving forwards and backwards, I feel, in this race.
Yeah, and as I said in the intro, the Group 4 Renault is really good at holding corner speed. Car has a good amount of aero, and it reacts favourably to that trail braking and holding higher corner speed. That can be a problem in itself too, with different braking points across the drivers, but all part of the excitement.
Oh, exactly, 100%. But all the drivers here, they've had plenty of time to do practice and work out their own sort of rhythms. As I'm looking towards the back here, P7 and P8, Pruitt and Keza having a good old scrap here.
Three turns
T2.
between them.
Yeah, APR versus BSR.
And again, brilliant livery on these cars. The guys responsible for it, it's world-class product.
Oh, I think we've done at least a million times by now. We have to do it again. Shout out to all the livery lords here at Sector 1 for putting these absolutely marvellous swim race cars on circuits here for our viewing pleasure. They put in like more effort than I feel necessary, but I'm happy they do so. See that back at the front, gap is still about half a second between Killer and Petey Pops there. It hasn't really changed for the last couple of laps, but definitely Petey Pops is striking distance as Boss has got past Cruising there at some point. I've missed that, but by the looks of what he has done though, he's brought Blimey into the battle. Currently a 2-on-1 situation, 2 switchblade cars and 1 Blacklight motorsport car there. I wouldn't be surprised if Cruising gets a little bit sort of like aggressive, so to speak, trying to let his teammates sneak on through with a better run. And sort of put the boss in a sandwich.
Yeah, and both Cruising and Blind Man previously were upper division or 2, and just through not being able to drive that regularly are in Div 4, but they have serious speed between them, so it'll be interesting. I don't expect the positions to stay as is, unless there's team orders.
No, I think it's too early in the season to have team orders. Like, unless your name's Captain Up and your teammate's Geesh. I think the colour's
the colour's almost papaya.
Yeah, almost. No, but yeah, like I said before, Cruising and Blind Man at some points in the recent past were both Cat 1A races, so they've definitely got speed behind them when they hook it all up. But yeah, just find themselves down in Cat 2B for the time being. Boss there coming onto the main straight. They have a bit of a wide through the last corner, which sort of hindered them a little bit. Gave them a good sort of like exit speed onto the main straight, but it's definitely put Cruising and Blind a little bit closer than they were before.
Yeah,
definitely, this battle for P3 is not over.
He's certainly got a switchblade freight train behind him.
Oh, say that 10 times quickly if you can.
No. There's a bit of Morse code happening near the rear bumper there, and tried for an inside line, very hard. Boss has gone
Boss
wide
goes
there,
to the grass,
but he's done a great
two for the
job.
price of one.
Absolutely, but that is so hard to hold it without turning hard left out of that corner when you go wide.
Yep, so it's only fair to say now, car control from the boss there. I didn't do as good as Ghost, unfortunately, but I'm still learning. But what it does though, it puts Cruise into P3, Blindman to P4. Now, like I said, team orders, do they come into effect now, or is these guys going to have a little scrap here for the last spot on the podium?
No, I reckon they'll send it. As you said early in the season. We'll just jump up and have a quick look at Killer. He's holding a 1.2 second gap to Petey Pops, and they're pulled out to about Petey Pops. They've got a 3-second buffer on Cruise, and I suspect with a minute 30 to go, that'll hold, because Cruise and Blind Man, if they race each other, might lose a little bit of time.
Yeah. Oh, just absolutely right. Yeah.
Just jump on board with Keza. He's just cemented a bit of a gap there of just over a second in front of Brewer.
Yeah, Keza had some really good laps last time out. Keza there with back-to-back 47s on lap 9 and 10, while Brewer did 48 and 49 on laps 9 and 10. So yeah, unfortunately, he's either made a mistake or he's chewed his tyres up. Well, I know it's a very short sort of time left in the race to do a tyre and fuel update, but to just do a quick run through. Currently, soft tyre seems to be the prevalent option, but there are, the 2 cars running the mediums, which is very high risk I found for a race as short, but can reap some benefits if you're fighting people constantly. So keep an eye out in this last lap or two here for Good Doc in P10 and for Brewer in P8, who will both run the medium tyres.
Yeah, and Rudsey's closed up there to Good Doc, 0.2 seconds, 5 tenths, but very tight for what will be actually just 1 lap to go, I think. A couple of those at the back may finish on this one.
Yeah, we have a car off at the last corner. Archangel regathered it. This will be the last lap for him. Rainbow Sox in P12 were the first to finish his race, I believe. Yes, it will be.
Yeah, and I did notice on the chat, Rainbow Sox, there was a bit of an incident, had a redress, which is right thing to do, but yeah, he's down at the back of the field with that. But yeah, great sportsmanship.
Now, but looking at the front now, your winner of the sprint here at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit is Killer on the Loose. P-Pops in P2. Blindman is again P3 there. Boss in P4. Cruising's had a mishap somewhere. We completely missed that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, more than one P6. Keza in P7. Brewer in P8. Debrev will come across the line in P9. Rudsey in P10. Good Doc in P11. And P12 and 13 of Rainbow Sox and Archangel have already finished.
Okay, we'll get the lobby results up and go through them.
Oh, just as quick as it started, it ended that race.
Okay, so the 10-minute sprint. And yeah, if you think we feel a bit confused, short qualifying, short sprint on a very short track takes a lot to keep on top on. But this is the finishing order for the 10-minute sprint race, but also critically your starting order for the 31-lap feature race. So first place, Killer on the Loose, Petey Pops in second, rounding out the podium, Blind Man, P4 the Boss, P5 Cruisin', who, yes, we said we did miss a bit of a mishap there at the end, P6 Malevolent 1, P7 Keza, P8 Brewer. We got Debrev in P9, Rudsey P10, the Good Doc in P11, Rainbow Sox in P12, and Archangel Nemesis in P13. So, yeah, that was a very intense, quick race. I think it'd be hard as a driver if you've got those short lap times and just, you know, ripping through that. Your thoughts? Yeah,
look, it was action-packed from start to finish, I feel. Cars were definitely having little scraps here, there, and everywhere for the entire 10 minutes. And if that's just a teaser of what we're in for the main race, then, mate, sign me up. I'm looking forward to it, like more than footy season at this point. Definitely very well done from everyone, especially those opted for the medium tyre. Sort of like hindered them at the start, but as the tyres got up a temp and the soft tyre started to go off, they definitely found some time towards the end there. I think Good Doc and Prua both moved up positions from where they started, so well done from them too.
Yeah, and look, an exciting format for the drivers. As I said, it's the first that we're trying this format, but yeah, quite exciting. We have had 2 20-minute sprint races in the past, but to do a sprint to set the grid for a feature race is very new. So what we'll do, we'll take a very quick intermission. We need to set that grid up for the 31 lap race. But one thing that you can be assured of is that strategy will come into play. We'll see multiple strategies. So if you want to throw your I guess, who you think will reach out the podium in the race, feel free, throw it in. But in the interim, we will fire into a very short intermission. Be back as soon as the grid's ready. Welcome back, everyone. So we've got the grid set, just last couple of preparations for that. So what we'll do straight away is, how's it looking, Captain Muffin? We got them all ticked in?
I believe so. Everyone looks to be ticked in. Hopefully I've selected the correct tyres I want to start on. I've had plenty of time to do so by now. But yeah, no, everyone looks to be in their correct grid positions. Just making sure that I've done everything properly on my end. I can't see any issues just thus far, but I reckon we are good to begin our feature race tonight here for Cat 2B.
Absolutely. Brought to you by Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. So, mate, if you want to hit that button, we will get the guys on the way. I will get the race screen up and running.
Sounds lovely to me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't had a chance to spray paint the button in the intermission, but however, there is a primer on there for the next RD to paint whatever colour they want. That's all good to go. But button has been pressed. Let's get this feature race underway. All right.
Just about to go to the race screen. So already 31 laps of absolute goodness, multiple strategy. We'll switch to the tyres after the first couple of laps settled down, work out who's on what. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5. Lights are out, we're racing.
We are away here. Car change on the background, got a slow start. Killer definitely cemented his lead off the start there. Pop is looking to cover off Blind Man P3. Cruising there, following his teammates through, trying to get the best of Boss, but Boss gets a really good run out of T1 there. Will Cruise and go for a dive? No, Boss will go around the outside of 2 of them. Oh,
that's
hang on
really
a second.
hard to do.
Oh, wow, wait. And he's got the inside line for the next corner.
Here. And he's got
for Poppers as well.
Poppers.
Oh, my. Oh, hang on. There might be a little bit of contact there between the two. Popper stays on the track there. But by the looks of it, Boss is redressing that. Because Blind Man now in P2, the Killer is streaked away to the tune of 1 second. We've got Switchblade 2-3 with Blind Man and Cruising in second and third. Malevolent 1 in P4 there after a nice little start from him. Boss is in P5 now, down 1 position from where he started after that what looked to be unfortunate contact. Pruitt up to P6 now. Popper's down to P7, which is very unfortunate. He'll be very unhappy about that, but there's still a long race ahead.
Yeah, a great save to keep it on the track there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very easy to go way off to the right.
Well and truly is. But yeah, I think from here, he'll be looking to make hay where the sun shines, try and get past people as quick as he can. Yeah, and currently now, oh, hang on a second, I just saw Boss making a move there on Pruitt, now to P5. P-Pop's trying to get past Pruitt as well. Just called out the corner of my eye, going too wide into the last corner. P-Pop's backs out of it. Pruitt goes a little bit deep there. P-Pop's trying to get a nice little cut back there, try and get the inside for T1. It's going to be hard to get. I think he's just going to miss this time around, but he might set himself up for a run into turn 2. Everyone, they're pretty clean, thankfully, compared to last week. This is much better.
Yeah,
much
this
better,
is really
starts.
good. The guy's serious. Oh, there's pops up the inside of
Pruitt.
There's been contact. Ooh. So very hard corner to overtake on their Druids. There's probably 2 entries, but 1 exit.
Absolutely, I agree with that completely. As we got a spinner in the background there, we have who we have off circuit. Pruitt still off circuit, unfortunately. Now currently off the lead to the tune of 15 seconds, but plenty of time to make that back. I think right now for him, best thing he can do is possibly...
What position did he come out in? 13. Okay, we'll see if we can get the replay here. Just caught it a bit late. Oh, he's hit again and re-entering the track in a very hard place.
It's very, very easy to make that mistake, but it's all good there. There is still time to be found. He's got the speed behind him to catch up to this grid. He's going
to put his head down, very unforgiving. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the grass here isn't as bad as what it was at Laguna last round, but there's definitely not much between them.
Yeah, so we're 2 laps in. There's that fuel glitch again that GT7 puts us with.
Okay, I'm not sure which glitch you're referring to.
I've got a please refuel light sitting on Blind Man.
Okay, right, yeah. No, all good, yeah. That must be just a you problem there, Banker, because I don't have that at all. As into T1 there, Boss makes a move on Malevolent 1. Ooh, no contact was made, which is great racing from the both of them. And Boss gets the inside line for T2, goes a bit deep. Level 1 tries to cut back there. Still too wide, I should say.
Yeah, the
Boss
boss
gets the
should
move
have
done.
the line here for the next corner. I just saw Malevolent One a bit wide there, so he certainly was trying to maintain his corner speed and not lose that position. We'll stay on that and just see how it transpires. We've got two really quick corners down the main straight, just after Pilgrim's Drop. We've got Hawthorne Bend and Westfield Bend. They are really hard and not the type to be too wide like this.
Yep, but they don't care about that. They don't care about driving fast and kicking bums.
And this next one's even a little bit harder because, it's just the way that it bends down and it's easy to clip that grass.
Yep, especially as well, that inside curve, you take too much of that, it will make your car very unstable and send you straight to the shower realm. As Limit One nearly loses it there.
Yeah, and this battle's brought Petey Pops and Rudsey into play too.
Yeah, Petey Pops there, still in the recovery drive. And Keza, yeah. Definitely currently, top three cars are sort of separated from the rest of the crew, but then back from fourth all the way to almost eighth, if not ninth, if you want to be ambitious. There's a nice little train there, all fighting for position, hard as anything else.
Yeah, we've had Cruising and P3 set the fastest lap of the race at a 31.596. Actually, what we might do, it's lap 4. Can we do a quick run through and just see what tyres people have started out on, so we get a bit of an idea of if there's any initial strategies at play?
Oh, I absolutely can. I've had a quick look through the grid these past couple laps, and all I can really say is so far, there's only one driver in the grid that I'm currently eyeing off for the alternate strategy, and that is currently a crew in P13, the only soft tyre runner in the field currently. Everyone else is running the mediums.
Yeah, that's surprising. I thought some might have.
Sorry to cut you off there, mate. We have a battle for P2 and P3. The teammates going at each other there.
And we had Kezo just go wide off in the background as well. He's lost 3 positions, I think.
Oh, that's unfortunate there. Most unfortunately for Kezo and the whole team of BSR. But still plenty of time to make that gap back up. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's right. VTX got the better of Blind in race 1. We'll see how this pans out.
VTX is Blind Man, but that's all right. Cruising there in P2 at this point in time. The gap between them and Killer is getting bigger as these two have the girls scrap. Love to see it, but you got to think Karen's probably pulling out a couple of hairs, chewing on some fingernails, praying that these guys don't do a repeat of a Red Bull back in the early 2010s between like Vettel and Webber. We'll wait and see what happens here.
Or even Verstappen and Ricciardo.
Yep, absolutely. That's probably more recent examples there, both involving an Australian and a young go-getter who's probably trying a bit too hard, but I digress.
Yeah.
Anyways, currently got P-Pops there getting attacked by Rudsey. No, manages to hold his position going into turn 2 there. I do apologise for not using the corner names. I'm not as proficient here as I should be, unfortunately. I'm going to get a spanking from Ghost when I come out of the comms box, just not knowing the corner names, but I'll copy on the chin or bum. Anyways.
We'll see how the run goes here. We've got Blind Man in really good slipstream position, only 3/10 back.
Yeah,
what definitely. Can he do in the braking it? Oh, actually, this corner, I think we've been in practice holding it around 5th gear with a slight lift down to 4th for this next corner.
Yep, no, that definitely sounds about right. As the tyres age, you may have to go back to 4th for the first of the right-handers, just to make sure you don't go too wide there. You shouldn't have to go to 3rd for the second one.
With Blind Man watching this.
And currently, Boss has also joined the pack now for that elusive P1 position. Gap has definitely tightened up, and they've put 3 seconds between them and P5. But with P-Pops there in that 5th position, I suspect that gap's going to come down pretty quickly.
Yep, and while we're watching this, Cruising's closed up on Killer in P1. So, yeah, this is certainly a race that's on. We'll probably another couple of laps. We'll go to a tyre and fuel update, because then we'll be able to sort of work out what the tyre wear's like between the one runner on softs and medium.
Yep, no, absolutely. That sounds good to me. But yeah, let these guys settle out the differences first. Let's not cut out the racing action for the ladies and gentlemen watching at home tonight. As I said before, now Boss, with the fast lap of the race of a 31.1, which on the medium tyre in a race lap is not too bad at all. in my professional opinion. Just on the background there, Rudsey having to go up Malevolent one after he went wide, going through the exit of T3 there. Gets the move done, going onto the back straight. Lovely move there from Rudsey.
And Malevolent got a great run out of that corner.
Yeah, you found with that sort of turn 4 complex, there are sort of two methodologies and two lines you can take through there, where you can either get through the corner quickly and sort of minimise your straight line speed, or you can take it nice and wide and make that straight as long as possible to try and increase your top end. But working out which one's better for you, I've found you try both and you get different results each time. So
yeah, I like the hold the tighter line, but where you stay out wide and turn into the apex, it definitely can help with that drive out of the corner if you get it right.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. No disagreements from me here.
But Malevolent one, he's certainly not giving up. Actually, we'll go back up to P5. We've got, P4, we've got the boss right up on the back of Blind Man.
Also as well, in P1 and 2, Killer had to defend there from Cruisin'. Oh, as Killer goes a bit wide, Cruisin' gets the inside line. Can he hold his nose there? Just needs to break a little bit deeper than Killer. Gets the move done this time around.
Should do this. Will Killer cut back? No.
Gets
so
covered off
very
nicely
solid
there.
turn there by Cruisin'.
No, well done there. Now it's time for him to try and streak away. Per bit of daylight between him and the cars behind. Even though they're on the same tyre compound, I've got a strange feeling these guys are on a different fuel strategy. We'll wait and see how this all eventuates. Boss there taking a lot of curb on the inside there, going on to the back straight, which probably won't hinder his run. It certainly has. Currently fallen behind Blind Man by the tune of roughly maybe about half a tenth to a tenth over this straight. P Pops there. He looks to be right now. P Pops is catching this this group here for the lead of the race. And I even argue as well, Rudsey is also in that battle if these guys muck about a bit further. But
yeah,
there's a lot going on here.
There's a tipping point when you're behind the drivers, within 3 or 4 tenths. Do you enter a bit of a fuel save and not fight for position straight away to pull the advantage later in the race, or do you go for it? So, yeah, it can be a bit misleading at this point in time, but it will pan out.
That definitely will here. Boss there is just stalking the rear end of Blind Man as he makes the move in the last corner. There you go.
Yeah, that taking that inside line, that was very well executed.
Well done there from Boss there for Blacklight Motorsport, now up into P3.
Yeah, as he goes over Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, lovely.
And he's got a really good gap going up the drills. He was a touch wide there, but managed to save it. But you could see the Blind Man, he got that better run there, and he was nearly in firing range.
Yeah, he definitely was showing the nose there, trying to put Boss off his game. If Boss just left him the room, Blind Man was taking the opportunity with both hands, but thankfully Boss said no. This corner's mine, stay behind.
Yeah, just quickly look where Killer is. He's 7 tenths back, but on a purple lap at the moment, so he's certainly got the bit between his teeth, and you can see that corner speed out, so he's just pulled 2, nearly 3 tenths out on that straight.
Also as well, this guy's getting quicker. I want to take special notice here as a good doc in P9 currently. Got the fast lap of the race. He's currently up on his best lap by nearly half a second. Oh, sorry, no. He was up by nearly half a second, but then got a bad run to the straight, and now it's up by, a bee's penis. Not too much at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if you look at his times, like he had a few settlers there in the 133, mid 133s, and yeah, then a 32-31. So, yeah, that could be part of a fuel save or just sort of getting into the race rhythm.
I wonder if possibly Good Doc there sort of like tried to more or less phase his tyre in just a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner. Even for me, it's losing a bit of track position now, so you can possibly try and extend this stint a little bit to possibly get the most out of the fuel tank, which, look, if you can get more speed out of the tyre, I'm all for it, but generally you probably want to do it on a soft tyre rather than a medium, but I'm not a race car driver, I'm just a very excited person. I'm not too sure what's going through his head. He might know something like I don't.
Yeah, but also too, that he's sitting in a gap there. He's got a buffer either side of him, working on a fuel save, and there's one thing Good Doc can do is save fuel.
Yep.
And maintain a reasonable pace.
The times are still coming down. Boss has now got the fast lap of the 30.9. Yeah, definitely. Everyone here on the medium tyres is really starting to come to life. It's currently a bit concerning for Prua there, who's currently in P12 now on the soft tyre, who hasn't been able to attack that fast lap of the race. Oh, as he goes a bit wide, coming onto the back straight there, manages to regather it, but he's going to have a very slow run up into sort of fifth corner here.
Yeah, and that'll let Nemesis catch him a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely will. But I think we got to the point now. Oh, it's Boss gets a penalty. Boss got a half-second penalty. Ooh. Oh, he's just cut that sort of like that fast right-hander there.
Yeah, I think that would be Sheen's, I think.
Sheen. Yep, I think I remember that corner. Sheen it would be. And he's off into the grass. Ooh.
Well, that's going to be...
He saved it.
Geez, he did a good job saving it there. That is very slippery and sand right on the edge of it.
Well, these tyres are going to be dirtier than a well-worn-in construction site at this point. Very much so. He's going to have to be very careful through his next few corners. Grip is going to be on the minimum for him. I speculate when he says this penalty as well, Poppers will get the best of him and possibly Rudsey as well.
Yeah, and on Sheens, we'll try and go on board a little bit later in the race, but it's almost a blind apex on turn-in until you're right up there. And a quick lap, you do need to cut it, but there's a margin.
Yep, absolutely. It's a very fine line. If you go wide, you just time out.
Oh, and grass.
Yeah. Oh, and grass, yeah, no, especially like, well, you chew in time out in the sense that you have to back off you, so you don't go on the grass. No, very much so. I think, meant to do a few laps ago, probably should do a tyre and fuel update, I reckon. We sort of delayed that for long enough. Absolutely.
I will just throw to the screen for the APR Automotive. You're in safe hands, tyre and fuel update.
Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, the tyre and fuel update. Currently in the way, cruising with a 1.2 second buffer to Killer in P2. Currently was dead on half tank of fuel. Medium tyres, he's left front. Currently got about maybe 25 to 30% wear. Rest of the tyres looking around the maybe 15%. Pretty good on that car there. Killer in P2. Better tyres all around compared to cruising. Probably around maybe 10%, if not 15%. On every tyre, bar the front left, which is actually about 20%. So he's doing really well there nursing that tyre. But he has got approximately a 5% fuel buffer on cruising in front. So that gap there is going to shrink once these guys do their first pit stops, and possibly only. Blind Man in P3, more or less copy and paste for Killer on the loose. He's probably got a touch, he's got more fuel again than Killer in front. Probably maybe another 5% on Killer there, so 10% on his teammates. He's going to get a really nice bump. Touch more tyre wear on the front left, but overall still in a very good position, pretty similar to Killer in front of him. Boss in P4, similar position right now to cruising, about half a tank of fuel, touch under it looks to be. Used a bit of that front left and sort of like same tyre wear as cruising, was about the 15 to 20% mark on every other tyre. P-Pop's there in P5, another great fuel save from him. About the same sort of fuel level as Blind Man in P3, so at this point in time, I nearly say those two are possibly on for the P2, possibly even P1, if they can keep the speed where they're going currently. In tyre wear, probably the best in the field so far, but pretty darn close to people like Killer and your Blind Man, not too far off that at all. Rudsey in P6 there, probably used the most fuel in the field so far, probably about maybe 40% used, approximately, give or take. Tyre wear, pretty similar to your cruising towards the front, where he's used probably about maybe 25% or so of the front left, about 15 to 20% on the rest of the tyres. 11.1 in P7. Yeah, he's doing good for fuel, touch under half tank currently, but his tyres have probably seen better days. His front left is down to nearly half worn. So he's going to struggle through the multitude of right-handers on this racetrack. But thankfully every other tyre is about 15 to 20% worn, so he's going to do great through the few left-handers this track has. Rainbow Socks in P8 there, a bit under half a tank there, so a little bit disadvantaged to some of the cars in front of him. Probably maybe similar sort of tyre wear, about 15 to 20% on all tyres, bar the front left, which is currently sitting about 25, so a nice little tyre save from him. Good doc, essentially it's copy and paste what I just said for Rainbow Socks. Their cars are near on identical to in the fuel and tyre realm. Keza in P10 there, he's got a fuel advantage on the cars in front, and his tyres are probably about 5% better all round than the two cars in front of him, so that gap to the cars in front should start to come down as the laps draw on, excuse me. Debrev in P11 there, currently just under half tank of fuel, so he's about on par with the couple of cars in front of him, give or take. Probably about maybe 20% wear on all tyres, bar the front left, which is currently about 25, so sort of about on par, like the average you could say. with most of the cars in the field. Archangel on P12 there, he's down to like nearly a quarter of a tank at this point. He has been chewing through fuel like it's going out of fashion. Tyre wear, probably maybe about 15 to 20% on the all tyres bar the front left, which is currently about maybe 30 to 35, so a bit more hard on that front left tyre for Archangel. And then currently in P13, Pruitt, who's just gone for a pit stop there with a full tank of fuel and fresh medium, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some fast laps from him now.
Yeah, that'll bring you home. But thank you, APR Tyre and Automotive for the APR Automotive for the tyre and fuel update. Back to the race screen. And look, one thing that I'm really interested in seeing now, we're on lap 13 of 31. We've got pretty much the whole field now running on medium. Killer's was just setting he's purple at that point, so he's not slowing down. But do we see the medium runners come in around lap 15, lap 16 and split the two sectors on mediums?
If I just may as well, Boss just made a move at the end of the back straight there on Killer to get P2. Killer then attacks him back. Oh, bit of contact between the two of them. Boss is in the sand. Oh, he's going to lose out. Makes contact with Blind Man, but he keeps going. Boss is in the grass there. Loses a bunch of positions there. Ooh.
See if we can catch that.
Yeah, I can just hear the steward pens clicking frantically.
Yeah, just on the outside there, so yeah, just a dive into the corner, just slight touch there, but yeah, just no room for error.
What it has done though, opened up the gap between P1 of Cruising and, well, everyone else at this rate to the tune of 3.5 seconds. The only downside for Cruising, he has used more fuel than the cars chasing him, so while that gap is pretty big, that gap's going to come down during the pit stop sequence here, which, going back to what you were saying before, with Pruitt there doing approximately, 13 laps on a set of softs?
Yep.
I'd have to say you'd probably extend the medium stints a bit longer. Because if you split in the middle 50-50, you sort of have to pretty much nurse your soft tyres through the rest of the race. And if you get in the battle, that's just going to wear your tyres out further and further, heat them up, and it's going to hurt you in the last few laps. So to sort of cover yourself off, if the medium tyres are still showing good pace, extend it out for another 2, 3, possibly 4 laps, just so you got a little bit of buffer there with soft tyres, so you can attack or defend cars around you, or from cars around
so yeah, if Pruitt he'll run home with the full tank of fuel. But yeah, it's one of those things. Do you want so there's the undercut. Someone comes in lap 15, 16, changes to mediums, slightly more fuel, but yeah, you just get some clean track position for a couple of laps. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think most around lap 19, 20 will be the tipping point for it.
Yep. No, I think after what we saw on the sprint race there, yeah, we did. That was just a touch over 10 laps there.
Yeah.
We did, and the soft tyres were looking pretty second-hand on the, especially on the left-hand side of the car by the time we got into that race. So it's up to the drivers now to make the call. Do they try and just get some early track position and mitigate, or do they box late, go for an overcut, and have a tyre they can have some fun with, for lack of better terminology, towards the end?
Yeah, just on board, just showing Rudsey here. He's getting really inquisitive of Petty Pops. Just having a bit of a look at the on the entry into corners. So I think here's a wide line through there. Can be a bit risky. That's a high risk when you hang out on the dirt there, but they've all managed to hold it in.
You can tell his practice has won a fair bit in the days, or possibly weeks leading up to this race here, trying to see exactly where the grip starts and where the grip ends, which is a very good thing to do.
I remember last year for about 70 laps of practice, 69 of them were good and one I got caught out there.
That's a pretty good record if you ask me. I'm not going to do the percentage mass on that one, but let's just say it's above 50 and go from there. But currently is... Yeah, go on, sir.
So just a bit of a gap. Cruising's inked out a bit of a gap on Blyman here, 3.2 seconds. But bearing in mind Blyman was 10% better on fuel at that tyre and fuel update, and progressively can improve that. They'll be coming out very close, very close.
Currently at this point in time, based on the tyre and fuel that's being used by the cars in the, let's say, top 6, Cruising is going to fall back into the clutches of that pack, possibly in the middle, if not the back of that pack, once he puts his fuel on board. He has gone for broke here, trying to pull a gap on the cars in front, which has been fluctuating from around the 2.6 to 3.3 range as the race goes on. Lineman and Poppers, who's currently Poppers there making a move on Rudzy. No, defending from Rudzy.
No, it's Ray's defending. Rudzy and it's brought Boss well and truly into the fight here.
Yep, definitely. As I was saying though.
The other part too is that I think Poppers was best on tyres, best in fuels. So if he defends and runs to his numbers, he will definitely come out in front of these guys.
Definitely. Currently, right now, I reckon just based on the track position where everyone is, Cruisen's going to fall back to the pack. PD Pops and Blindman will sort of go towards the front of it because of their fuel saving. Killer shouldn't be too far off. Currently, he's not too far off fuel-wise. He's sort of cars in P2 and P4 of Blindman and PD Pops. As PD Pops goes a bit wide there on the exit of the sort of fast right-hander coming into the Sheen. Manages the whole position from
I think from memory the Boss was roundabout in line with Cruiser. So he may be a bit compromised coming out of it. The other hard thing here too is if you're running 16 to 20 laps on a fuel save, when you fill to complete your race distance, there's no margin for picking up the pace on soft, so you've actually got to take that extra bit of fuel on so you can use the revs.
You absolutely do. It's a game of chance really. Do you put the extra fuel in to cover you off, or do you try and get track position and just pray you can stay in front of the cars you're versing? But yeah, look, personally, in the position of these guys, even with the refuel rate being as low as it is, you sort of want a buffer just to have in case something goes haywire. You can't just rely on your ability to do cookie cutter laps for the entirety of a stint on soft tyres, which you're going to wear much quicker than the mediums that are on currently. Even if you lose like an extra second and a half putting that little bit extra fuel in, it's going to pay dividend towards the end.
And just saw a great example there of PD Pops through, I think it was Surtees, just tapping the brakes lightly just to get that turn in and carry the corner speed with the trail brake.
Yep, definitely. This car here, being mid-engine and rear-wheel drive, if you just sort of tap the brake pedal there, it sort of gets the nose to bite in so you can get it around the corner. This car hasn't got a lot of speed, but hasn't got a lot of aero either, so it can get a bit loose if you try and make it do so.
Yeah, and we just saw there that aerial view of PD Pops running through the corner with a higher corner speed than Killer in front, and that corner speed also looks after your tyres where you're not as aggressive on them.
Yeah, and it's also very much here, what's the old saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yep.
Absolutely, and right now, being smooth is the aim of the game here. If you want to keep your tyres alive. Currently, judging by the fuel numbers, I would not be surprised to see Cruisin and Rudzy come in the next 2 laps, I reckon. Currently, Rudzy's on the fuel light in P5 there, and Cruisin is not too far off. Boss might be able to go an extra lap or 2 on them, but he's not going to be too far behind. And really,
Boss is a bit wide there around Paddock Hill Bend, so he dropped a little bit of time to Rudzy.
Yep. Currently, right now, if you're Blindman and PD Pops and even Killer at this point, you're sort of licking your lips here. You know for a fact you've got a good fuel save going on. Your tyres are in pretty good nick. If you can just keep your nose clean, you'll find a fair chunk of time in the pit stop.
Yeah, well, PD Pops was purple through that first timing sector, and I reckon he's sitting in that slipstream short shifting, and he's just getting towed around, which is a great strategy. And he's held it through the second timing sector.
Yep. And did I miss as well? The Blindman is now in P2. No, he was always in P2. Sorry.
P2, yeah. After the mishap with Killer, yeah.
Yep. No, that's all right. No problem at all. I was thinking of Killer there. Killer though, he's currently getting hounded massively by PD Pops. I wonder if PD Pops will go for a move here. He's going to start losing time to the top 2. And actually, I've just seen the blinker on for Cruising. He's going to the pits this lap. Unless he's made an error and hit the indicator by accident. Nope, he's gone to the pits. Cruiser's the first to blink.
Yeah, and very tricky entry to the pits and exit too with an unforgiving penalty line.
Yep, as Rudzy follows in behind him. Yep, not very often I predict something right. So yeah, that's a 1.5 second advantage there to Cruising over Rudzy. That gap there between the two should increase. Good Dog comes as well with 9 litres, so you'll find a bit of time on this top 2 cars in front of them. They've already boxed, but I think fair gap to make up anyway, so it could be a challenge for him to close the gap there enough to be in the real fight with these guys. For reasons, I want to keep an eye on Prua. I want to see where he comes out, where these guys come out in relation to Brewer.
Yep, I'll go back into... We'll see it here as he comes around. What's this? Westfield, I think. Yep.
Yep. And actually, Cruisen and Rodsey have already exited the box, so that's what, half a lap, yeah, in favour. And good Doctor at the leave too. Something I missed as well, Debrev has also boxed at one point. I missed that completely. Currently in P11 there, with fresh mediums and 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So opting to not use a soft tyre there for Debrev, opting for consistency, some might say, which isn't really a bad thing, because the medium tyres here, once you get them into a quad, they go. Not their pace isn't too far off that of the soft tyre. So Debrev here might be
absolutely, and I've seen a race run or two where a double sit. Ooh, we got Rainbow Socks a bit wide there in the grass, but he's managed to hold it. Kezo, that's closed probably a second just through that bit of a mishap there. But yeah, I've in a couple of race runs, medium around the middle is surprisingly a very good mix.
So that's my point out as well. Rudsey there unfortunately cut the pit lines, is currently down P9 and got a 3-second penalty for his trouble there.
Yeah, it's brutal that left-hand side, and the penalty, where you serve it here is, I guess, makes it exponentially worse.
Yep, that definitely does. And we also have Boss there and Rainbow Sox down the pit lane as well, currently taking their tyres and fuel. Let's see where Cruisen is. He's coming around the last corner now, going down the main straight. Boss is still in the pit lane. Cruisen now will get the jump on Boss. Yes, he will comfortably.
Yep.
Now let's just see. Next car in the queue was Rudsey. Rudsey's also going to get him. Boss is putting a lot of fuel in the tank. There we go. Boss is out.
Yeah, 89. So he's put a little bit of extra in for lap 20.
Yeah, no, considering the two cars in front of him of Cruisen and Rudsey, they're currently at maybe 65% of a tank. Probably a bit less than that. So Boss has put a lot of fuel on board here, so unless he's planning on doing qualifiers to the end, yeah, he's made a major error.
Yeah, and 3 seconds between first, second and third. This is going to be really interesting where Blindman and PD Pop's Killer's in. Blindman's in.
They're both in. Killer and Blindman are both in. Look at the fuel safe from Blindman.
Yeah, 16 litres, 2 extra laps on the others, and higher fuel. So he's staying on mediums by the look of that.
The graphic won't change over until he leaves the pits. Yeah, so we don't know really until he leaves his box. I speculate with the amount of time left in the race he'll be on the softs, but I've been wrong before.
I think softs is the key with 11 laps.
Yeah, there we are. He's half a tank, soft tyres, he's out. And look at the gap he's putting his teammate. He's put the entire main straight on his teammate. Wowee. Has Killer's out now, who's also in front of Cruisen. Currently roughly about maybe 4 seconds covering
5 seconds. It'll come down a bit as they just stabilise through the timing marks, but yeah, good 4.5 seconds.
Yep, so definitely now that's the time. P Pop's got a box this lap. The undercut's already going to hurt him. He's now going to have to get it done and pray he can stay in front of Blindman there, or at least be in tow. Try and give him a fight for the win, because right now, just judging by the fuel saves those two had, it'd be P Pops and Blindman for the win here, I reckon. Actually, Blindman's made a mistake. Oh, no, sorry, he hasn't. No, sorry. I was Kezo, I thought it was Killer. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, get you excited, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't say that, my bad. But yeah, currently there is...
very tight entry in here to the pits. He's turned in.
Yep.
Very easy to bump a wall here, and yeah, that exit is cruel. So 13, so that's fuel save very much comparable with Blindman, considering it's an extra lap. Yep.
Getting on Blindman, he's currently just exited the second to the last corner, coming down past the penalty line there.
Around Clark Curve.
Fuel going on the tank still for PD Pops. Blindman's giving everything he can to make sure he can stay in front of... Blindman's getting in front of PD Pops. I know what I'm saying. PD Pops is out. 45 litres in the tank. He has lost out to that, unfortunately. Lost a little bit of time, really.
Yeah, that was a good outlap. And a really good outlap there by Blindman. And that's, I guess that's the difference, where you get out on that first lap on softs, where the car that's going around's on more mediums, and probably still a bit of a fuel save. So... yeah, 3.2 seconds. What's that? About one bit over 1 second loss.
Yeah, more or less. And with that as well, Peter Potts is 3 seconds behind, and he's got less fuel in the tank, so he's down in two regards really. And 1 lap of extra tyre sort of lifeness isn't really going to make that much of a difference for him come the end of the race here. So I think at this point, Blindman's going to have to make a mistake to lose this. If he keeps his nose clean, I can't see a reason why he doesn't win this.
Yeah, because he can drive a bit harder. And how is Killer's fuel compared to Cruisin' and Petey Pops?
Currently, Petey Pops is at the least. He's currently about maybe 45% of the tank, maybe a touch under. While Blindman, after an extra pit, is currently about a touch under half, maybe about 48 or so. Killer's dead on half. Cruisin's a bit over half. And Rodsy's a bit over half as well. So Rodsy there is probably the big winner here. He was really nowhere near. Oh, as Cruisin there has an issue there. Currently with the indicators on.
Oh no, he's back. The lights flashed.
All right, might be a technological glitch there.
Problem,
thankfully no one got hurt. He did lose a position from it, but no one got hurt other than that. Rodsy to P4 now. Great drive from him.
Yeah, and just looking at these gaps, as you said, I think Blindman, because it's a diminishing number of laps left, it's going to be hard to sort of make up 5 or 6 seconds when they, if they're filled to a similar level to what they used in the first half of the race. It's going to be hard to put extra fuel in.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Use extra fuel, I should say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. One thing I will say as well, there's a lot of people that have trucked on the medium tyres for their second stint. There's currently more medium runners than soft runners at this point in time. It's close, but maybe one or so different. But yeah, a lot of medium tyre runners in this field here towards the end of the race. Currently, top 3 cars, top 4 I should say, are on the softs. First medium runners Cruisin' in P5.
Yeah, with 10 laps to go, 11 laps, the softs are very capable over 11 laps. The last 2 do fall off a bit, but there is an advantage to run the softs, so for that shorter stint.
Yeah, one thing I will say as well, just keep an eye on the top 2 here. Blindman, I think, with the extra fuel in so he can go hell for leather, and currently that fuel deficit that Petey Pops had starting to close up here. The gap between them fuel-wise is getting a lot closer and closer. Petey Pop's probably still driving to his number as he does the fast lap of the race there with a 29.8. This isn't over here actually. Petey Pops might be able to use those 1 lap fresher tyres to try and close up that gap.
Yeah, well he's 6 tenths. He's pulled 6 tenths since they've pitted. So yeah, it'd be interesting. This will be interesting. And Killer on the loose, he's 7.5 seconds back. So that's second lap's going to be pretty hard to pull back, but he's got a really big gap over Rudsey that'll lock in 3rd place.
Yep, I think definitely right now, pending any major errors from the top 3, I reckon they're locked in as the podium finishes. The order, 1st and 2nd, still possibly up for debate, but you never know. If these guys have one minor error, find the grass, even like a half spin, will put them in jeopardy here.
Yep, and Cruisin' on mediums, I'm pretty sure Malevolent One has made some gains here. He's down to under 1.5 seconds, so P5 is not certain.
Especially the Malevolent One here also opted for the medium tyre for that second stint, so if he's catching Cruisin' on the same compound tyre, that's not very good news for Cruisin' here. He's not going to have any sort of advantage. Once Malevolent One does catch up, they're going to be in a pretty similar position, tyre wear-wise. Yeah,
we'll go back and catch the boss, P7, 2 seconds to the rear of Malevolent One. Yeah, caught out with that fuel, and as we switch, commentator's curse on the grass on a hard part of the track. But caught out in the fuel stop there. And
I do want to say as well there, Petey Pops there just another fast lap of the race of a 29.7. He found 0.3 of a second on Blindman that lap alone. But I think it's going to be hard for Petey Pops to get close enough to mount a charge. But if he can keep Blindman honest, keep him looking backwards, something could happen here.
Yeah, and look, a good battle between 8 and 9 as well, with Keza sort of closing up on the Good Doc and Rainbow Sox, Andy Brev 6 seconds and 3 seconds respectively back. We've got Brewer, he's sort of in a bit of a gap of his own there. I think he's had another mishap there, although he was caught the softs early in the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little mishap for him at turn 2 there on the soft tyre, sort of put him sort of on the back foot. Currently, his lap times here has been like, what, 34, 35s
Yeah,
for the past 10 or so laps.
So what he's pretty much, he went to mediums on lap 11, so they'll certainly be showing their age.
Yeah.
Oh, lap 13, sorry.
Yeah, just be praying now for cars in front to sort of get a bit loosey-goosey so we can capitalise on their mistakes.
Now, that gap, just had Petty Pops go around. I think that was Nemesis, who stayed away from the racing line. Did a good job there, but Petty Pops has halved the gap since the pit stop.
He certainly has, currently down at 1.7 seconds. Petty Pops there, captain consistency right here. Fast lap of the race he did on lap 24 was a 29.786. His last lap was a 29.788.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
There's your differential too on the screen there. 31s, 32s for mediums. 2 seconds quicker on softs.
Very much. It's one of those things where it's very quick, especially when they're fresh, but as they start to age, that gap does sort of start to come down. And the medium tyres, I've found, once they get to like maybe about lap 5, they start to come good and start to really give you some benefit and get into the sort of like the mid to low 30s, possibly even 29s if you hook it up nicely for these guys here in Cat 2B. But yeah.
I reckon lap 26 we should throw to a quick tyre and fuel update just to get a handle, especially where the first 5 or 6 are running.
Right, then, for the second time and possibly last time this race, ladies and gentlemen, your APR Automotive Tyre and Fuel Update, you are in safe hands. Blind Man leading the way here on the soft tyres, currently with a touch under of a quarter tank of fuel. He sort of got roughly about maybe 20% wear on all tyres, bar the front left, which is around maybe the 30% mark currently. So about what you expect him to be at this point in the race after his one and only pit stop. P-Pop's there in P2. The fuel deficit is gone. He is matching Blind Man's fuel number, so these two are on the same strategy at this point. But his tyres are much better, probably about 5% better on each tyre comfortably. So that gap really, Blind Man's going to have to take it easy for a couple laps here and try to sort of keep that gap where it is without using any more tyre, or he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he's quick as the game through that first sector. Oh, he's off the track there on the dirt, but he's held it on.
Lovely, lovely. Killer there in P3, who's also setting his own personal best fast lap of the race, or was on track for it this lap, I should say. Currently with a touch over half a tank, so definitely if the other two have only got a quarter tank to get home, he's well and truly good on fuel. And same tyre wear as Blind Man in front, so around that 15 to 20% all round, bar the front left, which is around the 25, maybe on the edge of the 30. So he right now, the gap to the podium, I think, has come down, I think, ever so slightly. Maybe I'll have to double check the numbers here.
Yeah, he's certainly taken a lot of fuel, which probably explains that 10-second deficit.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be pretty hard for him to close that gap at this point, but stranger things have happened in motorsport, without a doubt. Rhodesy there in P4, currently with about the same fuel as Killer, maybe a touch more, but his tyres, he's really using them. He's got about maybe 25, 30, if not 35% more tyres, but the front left, which is currently down to 50% worn. So he's going to be on the back
mediums behind him is full bulk time in.
Yep, absolutely he has. Fuel-wise, currently cruising on a quarter of a tank, more or less there, and medium tyres, much better. There's a night and day difference between him and Rhodesy in front. Rhodesy will still have a pace advantage currently because softs, when they are a bit worn, are still quicker than mediums when they are a bit fresher, but that deficit is going to start sort of swinging into cruiser's favour pretty quickly here. Modern 1 in P6, currently with a quarter of a tank of fuel, medium tyres. He's got better medium tyres than cruising, so the fact that he's actually losing time is very interesting, unless he's possibly saving them for like a very late dash here towards the end of the race, but he's running out of time to do that as it appears.
And again, the boss has made a heap of time up since that pit stop.
Yeah, boss there was half a tank of fuel. He has doubled the tank of amount of fuel than everyone in front of him. So right now, he can go hell for leather. Like qualifying laps, repeating, just back to back to back to back. He's got no problem at all. Medium tyre wear, currently about the same as cruising, maybe a bit better on the rears as it appears. But yeah, about the same really, so it'd be interesting to see what he can do against Malevolent One here towards the end of the race. Good Doc in P8 currently, on the medium tyres as well, quarter of a tank of fuel, and he's got similar tyre wear to that of probably P-Pops at this point, so he's done a really good job managing that tyre wear there, the Good Doctor. Keza in P9 on the soft tyres here. He's probably got about 20% of fuel, but he's really looked after the soft tyres. Like his tyre wear is currently similar to that in front of him on Good Dock on the medium, like around about the 15 to 20% on all tyres, bar the front left, which is a touch more. But yeah, Kez is there really looking after his tyres in this late stage of the race here. Rainbow Socks and P10 there, currently about 20% fuel, so he'll enough to get home from here. Medium tyres are currently around the 10 to 15% worn everywhere bar the front left, which is about maybe 20. So good tyre wear there from Rainbow Socks there.
Yeah, and setting his personal best on the lap.
Yeah, no, lovely.
So
love to
tyres
see
are coming to the car, so that's a good sign.
Yep, keep going, young fella. Debrev there in P11 there, quarter of a tank of fuel. He's used a bit more medium tyres than the other medium tyre, probably around the 30% mark on the front left. Currently maybe 20% on the rest of the tyres at this point in time there, but overall he'll be able to make it to the end from here going pretty quick, I should say. Pruitt and P11 there, the first person to
sorry to cut him, mate, but we've missed the pass for the lead. Petey Pops on Blind Man.
Oh my, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I got engrossed in the tyre and fuel update. I've taken you away from the action. And there you go.
Very quickly out, so not sure if it was a mistake. It's too late to capture that in the replay, but yeah, straight out to 1.6 seconds. So might have just been a bit of an error on Blind Man's part.
And also, I want to say as well, it's got to the point where now Petey Pops has got more fuel than Blind Man. So Blind Man has either put he's either using way too much fuel right now, or he's timed it perfectly to get across the line with 0%. But with Petey Pops in front with more fuel, still short shifting, I've got a feeling Blind Man might be playing himself out of this here, as the gap does come down ever so slightly to 0.7 of a second there. So this battle for the lead isn't over. If I may just quickly, while this guy to settle down, finish the tyre and fuel update. Yeah, you got Brewer and P12s first of the pit stoppers there with a quarter tank of fuel and some very, very worn mediums there, probably beyond 0.5% worn, or half worn I should say, on the front left, and then about maybe a touch under half everywhere else. And then Archangel in P13 with a quarter tank of fuel, medium tyres, pretty comparable to the rest of the field around him.
Yeah, and just on Blind Man, definitely an error. He's pulled half that deficit out during this lap, so be very interesting to see how he goes.
Definitely, just looking at the lap times there. Last lap out, last two laps I should say for Petey Pops with a 30.4 and a 31.7. Blind Man with a 31.2 and a 33 dead, so he has made a mistake on lap 29 somewhere.
Yeah, and getting at that late stage, sun in the eyes on some corners, but on to Brotham Straight.
Yep, for the second last time here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to commence the final lap of this race here at Brands Hatch for the third round of our Season 10 Championship, the Trophy Challenge. Cat 2B, everyone stand up, cheer these guys on. We have a battle for the lead here after 46.5 minutes of racing. Yeah, Blind Man's not giving up here. I think fuel-wise, he should be able to make it to the end fuel-wise, but he's going to be touch and go here. I wouldn't be surprised if he coughs a bit to come up to the line. Like, he is getting to the bottom of his tank.
Yeah, 3 tenths, I think, deficit on when we crossed after the overtake was something like 1.4, 1.5 seconds. So he's certainly not leaving anything on the table here.
Now, Blind Man here, look, the gauge can be hard to read, but I think his fuel percentage is currently around like 1%, 2%. There is not much in that tank currently. You can see him already starting the short shift as he finds the grass. He saves it, car control. No, hang on. He's out of fuel, I think. Oh, no. He's got a little bit left, but the gauge says empty. Like, it's all nothing but red. There we go. He's gone. He's out of fuel.
Out of fuel. This brings Killer right into play.
He's got an 11-second gap to find.
Yeah, it will disappear really quickly. What a shame. Slight miscalculation.
Yeah, so let's just see here. As Petey Pops is going to get the win. There's no change in that now. So the battle now is battle for P2. Can the fuel-stricken Blind Man stay in front of Killer on the loose?
Down Blind Man straight for the last time. Petey Pops commanding when he's on the lights. Very, very happy. We'll quickly go back, have a look at where Killer is. He's got him. Yes, on the run to the straight.
Yeah, he should be able to stay safe from his teammate there, Blind Man. Cruising currently 20 seconds away. He's not going to close that gap in this short time span. It's definitely going to be close. As Archangel comes up behind him on the lap cars there. And there we go, Blind Man P3.
P3's home and hosed. So yeah, Switchblade 3 and 4.
Yep, lovely drive there from the guys from Switchblade. Old Brent's team. Rodsy in P5 there, Boss in P6, Level 1 P7. Good dock there with a bell with Keza to the line. Can he hold the position? Yes, he can.
Yes, he
Good
can,
dock,
yep.
Keza, P8 and 9. Let's go
Rainbow
across the line.
socks snapped. Next, got
Yep.
the wipers going.
Yep, no, I didn't think it was very wet here, but maybe I'm missing something. Debrev coming across the line for City Motorsports in P12. And P11, I should say, what am I saying? And then Prua will be the last of our finishes in P12. Currently coming through, Sheen down to the second to last corner. Good drive from him there, the team leader of APR Motorsport. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of drums at the start there, but you know, without doubt, good showing, good points for the team. He's managed to bring the car home in P12 there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Cat 2B. Run and done.
Yeah, well, we get the results. I just had a look on the chat and a few references to Switchblade strikes again. Come on, Karen. I'm not sure if that's any reference to historical fuel strategies.
Well, actually, I've actually got a very good story about this one. My Sector 1 was actually driving, I was driving in a Cat 2A, I should say, at Brands Hatch back in the old M3 Challenge. And in very convenient circumstances, I also ran out of fuel in the last lap while fighting for the win and ended up coming P3. So, you know, I think it's a little bit of deja vu there for me personally, seeing a Switchblade car run out of fuel in the last lap at Brands, end up coming third, but I could be wrong, I'm not too sure.
Yep, no worries. So what we'll do, we'll cross to the results. Great race. A few positions closed there at the end. We've got Petey Pops on top step of the podium with a great win for Doghouse. We've got Killer on the loose on the second step, and Blind Man with his fuel issue on the last lap has salvaged the podium at P3. Cruisin' P5, Cruisin' in P4, Rudsy in P5, the Boss in P6, which is a good recovery after the pit stop there. He took on lost a bit of time with the fuel. Malevolent 1 in 7, Good Doc in 8, also a solid drive. I'm pretty sure he was up around P12 or P13 at one point early in the race. Keza in P9 with a strong finish there. Rainbow Socks in P10, Debrev in P11, Prua in P12, and Archangel in P13. So, your thoughts on the race?
What an absolute cracker that was. Thoroughly enjoyed commentating that action there for everyone at home, watching along. Yeah, look, everyone there, I felt did a really good job there. Definitely a few moments that the stewards are going to have to look into, but that's racing, unfortunately. People do make mistakes, and a few of the incidents I did see got redressed, so it was lovely to see the boys showing some good sportsmanship there and giving positions back when they weren't fairly earned, so to speak. But look, currently, skim along here to driver of the day dominations. Personally, I'm going to have to give it to Rudsy. He started qualifying P9 after the 10-minute sprint and managed to almost snag P4 there after a very, very sterling drive there in the race. So for me personally, I think he did a great job there, Rudsy.
Yeah, no, look, and I agree. And I'm just having a quick look through the chat. No, that's it. No, look, I second that thing. I think it was a great race. I like seeing the different strategies come into play. Some work, some don't. The fuel management in this season, as we can see tonight, but it really does have a big influence on those final lap times and actually, you know, being able to contest a position at the end. And we saw multiple gaps of 3 to 4 seconds close right down in positional changes in the last quarter of the race. So, yeah, that was really good. But no, I second that Rudsy drive day. It was a great drive through the pack and also a really good recovery from Good Doc. So,
and also as well, good recovery as well from our race winner in Petey Pops, who at the commencement of the second or third lap was down like P8 or something like that to get the win in the end. Definitely special mention goes to him, but the old saying is you can't give the winner the driver of the day. You can't give the winner a race driver of the day. That's
Driver
just
of the day, yep.
forbidden.
But what I do fully expect is to see the fuel saving strategy in the team room for use next week.
Yeah, look, we'll definitely see what the Cat 1 guys can do there. I think I think the guys there will have a bit more time to sort of practice out and see what works and doesn't work tonight with both this race that just happened as well as the Cat 2A boys coming up soon, ladies and gentlemen, and just try and sort of optimize what the best strategy would be there. But yeah, look, this next race coming up, I reckon, I think I've always heard it plenty of times in my couple of years being here, Cat 2A is the most competitive field and most entertaining field we have, so I'm keen to see what show they put on for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Historically, one of the hardest fighters that we have in Sector 1, this next group. So, look, that wraps up Cat 2 Group B. Captain Muffin, thank you very much for race directing tonight and your excellence in commentary, as always. Look forward to catching up next time. So what we'll do, guys, we'll have a short intermission just to change race directors, get our Group A race, and we will be back as soon as we can. All right, welcome back, everyone. We've now got the Cat 2 Group A drivers ready to go.
I'm about to start.
About to start quali.
All right, I'm here. Let's start quali, shall we?
No. All right. Just ready to go. Just quick introduction to our RD for the Group A race. Boybegum, welcome. How are you tonight?
Hello. I'm all right. Yourself?
Yep, really good. Just had a cracker of a Group B race, so I have high expectations. High expectations for this lot. What are your thoughts on how the drivers are shaping up in practice?
It's all looking relatively clean, and the racing is pretty good. So high expectations.
All right. Well, race format and settings identical to the Group B race, so we won't go through what we saw. But as I said, based on that race, this one will be epic. So I reckon we get straight into qualification for these guys. Cat 2 Group A brought to you by JSM Accounting Group. So, Boybegum, if you want to hit that button, we'll get these guys underway.
Yep, just
I'll get the right screen selected and we'll be good to go.
All right, here we go. Button. Nope, wrong button. Button has been pressed.
Excellent. As soon as we get on the cars, we'll switch over. All right, drivers are all lined up in the pits. Yep. So we're ready to go. This will be a tricky one to follow.
Yeah.
So as we saw in the first race, it was all over in about 3 minutes.
All right, let's see who's the first out on track.
So we've got Mr. Bumcrack, I think it is, for
it is
Matsu, for Kraken Esports, with Madrick behind. Then Carbon Boy for APR Motorsports, VF for Dadson Racing. Then Budsy, Wartime, Stranger. So what we might do, just seeing how hectic it was, and it's a very short lap on this Indy circuit, we'll just follow them through. Oh, that's
and
compromised.
Has gone off, and that is his hot lap. For the lack of a better word, ruined.
Yep.
So our first person to do their one shot is Madrick.
Yeah, good buffer too here between Madrick, Carbon Boy and VF, so well placed to see how they go.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, tricky circuit when you're on the back of someone. Those turn-in points are hard to see as it is, let alone with a car in front.
All right, Madrick is coming into Surtees and into the what is called McLaren. All right, Madrick is about to finish up his lap here. Really short lap too.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's been pretty quick in some of the practice rooms that I've lobbies that I've seen him in.
All right, it's
that's
47.334.
And
Carbon Boy's already beaten.
47.182. Yeah.
VS is up next with a 48. Budsy going in with a 46.8. Wartime with a 47.9. The Stranger coming in with a 47.9. Bumcrack with a 49. Predictably.
Yeah, he would have lost all the run on the main straight, on Bratham Straight there. So Indeed. Big J 47 for P3, Freelix into P2.
Yep.
So we have Laminator going out. Not sure if he's been out before.
I don't think he has. Yep, he has not set a time yet.
So he should be the last car running on track. So we'll stay on board.
Yep.
Very serious, getting tyres warmed up. But yeah, 46.822 by Budsy. That's a cracking pace, but it is such a short and busy lap. It says a lot with what this sprint race is looking at.
And Black Project finishes his lap with a 47.4. And here we go, Laminator, the last car on track. Looks like he's timed it. That way he has all the room in the world.
Yeah, and a target to beat. And Laminator's no slouch. So see how he goes through the first timing sector.
All right. Into Druids. All right, he's up by 0.023. It's going to be close. If he keeps this up, it's going to be good.
Up to Surtees through the switchback.
Yep. I didn't get the purple split there.
Yeah. Seems 40. We've got a good run out, so he'll come down to the line just on 50 seconds to go.
And
P9.
47.55.
Just a little bit there coming on the Braddon straight. He just seemed to be a little bit deep under brakes, and on such a short lap that's critical for time. So
indeed,
he's just on his out lap now, but I think that is everyone that we have.
Yep.
So we'll just we've got about 30 seconds to go. What are your thoughts on that, Boybegum?
Yeah, it was chaotic, as you said.
Absolutely.
Couldn't really keep up with everybody, but we managed to do so somewhat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to quali to close. We get those lobby results up, then we can see more accurately just what happened and the gap between drivers. I suspect some pretty tight times in the top there. We missed Grovel coming in at P5, but yeah, solid one lap from Madrick. There's no mercy with this system. It's like the top 10 shootout at Bathurst. You get it right, you get it right. If you get it wrong, you've got a lot of cars to come through in the race.
I guess that's why so many people love this format.
Yeah, so about 11 seconds to go. We'll get those results fired up. Also, too, revs in P7. Yeah, just looking at where some of these guys have landed. Those times must be really tight. So, lobby results. All right. P1 with an absolute ripper time of 46.822. And remember, this starting order for the 10-minute sprint. We've got Budsy, P2, Felix, just on 3/10 back. Very closely followed by Big J, 0.326, Carbon Boy, 0.360. There is nothing in this field. Grubble at 0.398. Half a second for Madrick in P6. Revs in P7, just over a half second. Black Project in P8, 0.6 back. And we've got Laminator at 0.7. So, yeah, 7/10 to the first 9 drivers. That's incredibly tight and holds for a sensational sprint. Wartime 1.139 in P10. The Stranger in P11, 1.1 back. VF 1.188 back in P12. And Mr. Bumcrack 2.54. Not reflective of his pace. He had that mishap coming onto the main straight, which robbed all his momentum for his fast lap. So, yeah, absolutely tight. 7/10 between the top 9 drivers. So,
and it seems like Greg's has joined the lobby a bit late. So, what should we do then?
When did you join? Through
this quali.
He said technical issue could not get into the room. Look, I'm comfortable if we can do a quick set by. Let the drivers know we do a quick set by host to get him in there.
All
He's
right.
definitely. Let me have a look. Definitely in the room. I can't see him on the drivers list.
He's at the very bottom.
He's in there. Yep. So yeah, look, let's make an executive decision. Do a quick set by host. We get all our good drivers in. Have a really competitive Group A race. So just give me 1 sec, guys. As soon as we've got the grid set, we will be straight back. Thank you for your patience. All right, we're back, guys. We have a manual grid set, and we're not
Yep.
going to muck around any further because we've got another intermission after this race. So,
Yes.
where we go, I reckon we push race, and we get these 14 drivers underway. And yeah, sorry for the delay there, but it's really good to have a full grid of who are exceptional drivers in this Group A race. So, let's go. Let's fire it up.
Indeed. Letting them know that we are about to race, and the button has been pressed. 10 seconds. I think we're in for a doozy.
Yeah, absolutely. This field is incredible, and
Yeah.
I'm really keen. I think we're going to see probably 3 different strategies here. So absolutely good. And what a strong 2 rows. Brudsy and Felix off row 1, Big J
Yeah.
and Carbon off row 4, and then look at the competition behind. It's incredible.
Yeah,
Lights,
I've raced with them
3
before,
lights,
and
4
they're pretty
lights,
big drivers.
5 lights. Lights are out and we're racing.
Indeed.
Great start
All right,
on the
as-
inside by Budsy.
All right, going into Paddock Hill Bend, here we go.
Yeah, big
All side
Big
by
J
side.
up there. Carbon Boy, Big J contesting position.
Ooh,
But
the stranger is shuffling. Who is that? I think that's Wartime out a little bit, but it's all fine. Going into Druids.
yeah, some great racing room being given there. This is a tricky track. Critically, they're through the first few turns with no mishaps. So
Revs with a sneaky dive bomb, but nothing too harmful coming out of it.
yeah, we've Grovel's picked up the advantage here on the first lap. Pick up position on Carbon Boy, but remember this is a really short 46-second odd race lap here. It's going to be intense. 10 minutes of it. One sneeze here, and you can lose multiple positions.
And interestingly, some of them are on mediums.
Yeah, look, they're surprisingly, the softs are definitely better over the first, say, 6 or 7 laps. The mediums are very acceptable after that. The other thing is, you can chew your softs up battling in traffic like this too. So, yeah, interesting strategy for a sprint race.
So yeah, look like the soft runners need to make time up and fast before their tires fall off. Because the people on the mediums are going to absolutely have at them once that happens.
Yeah, and very important where they finish here. As we said, this is the finishing order here will be the starting order for the 31-lap race, and that starting order can influence your strategy from the very get-go. But yeah, there is nothing between 2 or 3 tenths between every driver at the moment, and I expect we'll see this right through to the end.
Yes. And it looks like a battle is heating up between Felix and Big J for the 2 podium positions.
And Lemonator just
And
got,
looks like there's an incident. Looks like there's an incident at the back between Bumcrack and Greg's.
all right, let's see where they come out.
And it looks like
Just see if I can
Bumcrack-
catch that on replay.
Bumcrack punts Greg's a little bit and decides to redress, I think. No, he does not redress, but I'm not sure. I'm not a steward here, so we'll leave that up to them if it ever gets reported.
Yeah, just unfortunately in that sand too. Very hard
Yeah.
to maintain control.
Indeed. And it looks like Big J's lining up a dive up on Felix, and nothing comes out of it.
Close to the front. Oh, a bit of Morse code on the bumper. Definitely racing here for Sheep Stations. Critical start position in race 2. But yeah, 5 tenths, 4 tenths, back to P5, 6, 7 tenths between cars. So anything can happen here. We're 3 minutes 40 into this. So tyres.
And Magic has
and
spun. Magic
Magic
has spun on the curbs.
into the wall.
Yeah.
So he'll be carrying a bit of damage out of that too. So
Yes.
that unfortunately is going to put him a fair way back in such a tight field, short track.
And it looks like he's recovered just in front of bum crack.
Yeah, we've got Wartime here. Revs is under a bit of pressure. Wartime's just come up to the outside.
Yep. Right. And
Hard place to
has he cleared
pass
him?
Around Paddock Hill Bend.
And Black Project is off. And he's recovered just behind them. So he might have a chance at this, and Revs is through.
I don't know where to look here. you look at the top of you look at the radar, and yeah, it's pretty thick with drivers. So look, we're battling here 9, 10, 11, and there's nothing between these guys, and they're not going to give up till they get to the end.
And then there's Budsy with a 3.2 second lead. And the fastest lap too with a 47.1.
Yeah. So we'll just keep an eye on this. But Stranger has made a move on the inside of VF there, but wide. And does he hold or sand? Yes, just. That is a hard corner. So we'll go back to P3. We've got Carbon Boy at 8 tenths back from Big J. Similar gap back to Freelix. And if we look here, Grubble at just on 5.5 tenths back. So bit of a gap there, 1.54 seconds back to Lemonator. So really, I think any of these positions could change, with maybe the exception of Budsy if he keeps holding this like he is. But P2 to P5 still subject to change. We won't put a stamp on that yet.
But I think they're taking it easy as there's 4 minutes to go, and well, if you mess up now, you're going to start at the back or close to the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here comes Wartime with a dive, with Revs covering it just. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, and look, that's part of the strategy where 4 minutes to go. If you got a position to start, in the top half a dozen, yeah, you don't want to be taking too many risks, as long as the person behind you lets you. So back to Grovel for Einar Racing.
Relix going a bit wide there, losing a bit of time.
Yeah, and I think Carbon Boy is not letting Big J get away here. So, and he's on his personal best lap so far through that sector. Very consistent lap times, 47.7, 47.2, 47.2. Yeah, and he's holding that up. So he's definitely got his race face on. But Big J is very quick. But yeah, impressive effort out here by Budsy. We'll straight to the front, 2.7 seconds.
Yep.
Extremely competitive and quick driver. And as I think I've said before about drivers, but I've certainly raced with Budsy and been passed by him and followed him a lot. So I know exactly how quick he is.
Indeed.
We'll drop back a bit just to see what's happening. Carbon Boy's managed to get 2.5 tenths out of Big J, maybe a fraction more, but he's still holding that. He's built on that gap with Freelix with that little error that you've called out before.
Yep. And it seems like the gap between Budsy and Big J is closing a bit. And he's towing Carbon Boy along too.
Yeah, 2 minutes to go. I think he's mistake-free. He's got perfect control over this, and the coveted pole position for race 2. But yeah, Carbon Boy's down to 4 tenths here, so he's halved the gap in a lap and a half.
Yeah. It seems like it's all calmed down for the last 90 seconds.
Yeah, although Revs, he's...
And Felix does a little bit of Code Brown. That's going to cost him some time, I think, here with...
Yeah, Grovel's got past him, P4.
And
yeah,
here we go. We have a battle. We have a battle on our hands.
Yeah, Rebs is well and truly wanting to capitalise on this. So great run out of the Clark curve onto the main straight. So, and he's got the position.
No, he's not.
No, he hasn't.
Not just yet.
He had it for a bit.
I'm not sure Paddock Hill is a great place to go outside.
No.
And a little bit of nudging, a little bit of argy-bargy. And, Laminator. 2 positions.
He really benefited
in one corner.
from
Good stuff. And with 40 seconds to go, we've got one more lap in this, if I have to say.
And look at this battle back here for 8, 9 and 10. Again, nothing in it. Anything can happen here.
Yep. Here we go. The first 3 are on their final lap.
Yeah, Budsy holding a solid lead there. We'll flick back to positions 2 and 3.
Laminator a little bit wide into Druids, and here we go.
Yeah, gaps down to 4/10. Running out of corners. So we've got the switchback through Surtees Clark curve.
And Laminator's got a suboptimal run with Revs coming in, and he's cleared him.
Yeah, that's a hard race for Rebs. He's been fighting for position the whole way up and down.
And Laminator's wide again. He's lost those 2. He's gained those 2 positions and lost those 2 positions.
Through for the win. Big J second. Carbon Boy third. Grovel up to P4. Rebs to P5. So we'll quickly get the results for that. But yeah, I've got to say the intense racing. The top 3 were sort of in that train, but. Yep. The Grovel, Rebs, Freelix, Laminator piece, they were fighting position for the whole 10 minutes, so I'm pretty sure they'll be reaching for a drink at this point in time.
And Greg's is the last one to cross the line, and he's out of fuel.
Timed it perfectly. And he should have had a lap up his sleeves, so I'd say he was sending it.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at the results. Okay, P1 for the first 10-minute sprint. We've got Budsy, second step on the podium, Big J, Carbon Boy on the third step, and Grovel in P4. That's your first 2 rows for the feature race. Followed with Rebs and Freelix on the next row, then Laminator and Black Project. VF and Wartime, Stranger and Madrick, and Mr. Bumcrack and Greg's. And yeah, look, with Mr. Bumcrack, with the mistake on the start of his hot lap, and Greg's coming in late, starting from the rear grid. In that field, there was not much chance to improve those positions, but I would be flagging to watch them in the race. All right, we'll go. We just need to take a very quick intermission because you've got to set the grid from. Have you got those results locked and loaded?
Yep, I have taken a photo of the results and, I'm just about ready to change the settings to the feature race.
All right, guys. So for the last time tonight, we'll be going through a very quick intermission break. Looking forward to seeing some predictions in the chat for what the podium will look like. As I said, I think there's going to be 3 or 4 strategies at play here. And don't forget, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It means a lot to Sector 1. So we'll just quickly go to an intermission, and as soon as we're done, we will come straight back to the action. All right, everyone, we are back. So, feature race. Everything is sorted. This race is brought to you by JSM Accounting Group. And as Captain Muffin said earlier in the stream, I am excited. I won't know where to look on this one. So, Borgum, please throw in with the commentary as you see things happen. But I think this is going to be epic. Some great drivers, and we throw some strategies in. We will absolutely go from it. So if you want to push that button, we will get Group A underway.
All right, let me
I'll throw
get
to
the
the race
drivers
screen
notified.
as soon as we've got them on the grid.
Okay. All right, pressing the button now. 10 seconds.
Okay, here we go. We've got the drivers lined up on the grid, led by Budsy and Big J on row 1. Lights are about to come on.
All right, here we go.
3 lights. 4, 5. Lights
And
are
we're
out,
underway.
we're racing. And a great start by Budsy there on the inside. Big J's got good track position. Nothing lost there. Same with Carbon. He's been able to maintain third place through there. So, yeah, really good and really clean start. A lot of racing room given. Great to see.
A little bit of, what was this called? The Newton's Cradle at the back. Going a bit 3 wide there with Mr. Bumcrack being the biggest beneficiary, and a little bit wide through there, too. But he holds on.
Just cut back to Felix. We've got Black Project just in behind him, jostling for positions. It looks like...
and the Stranger's a bit off.
VF Stranger. Just jostling for the position there. We'll leave it a few laps and then we'll unveil the tyre strategy for these guys. But my gut feel is there's a few different runners here. So these guys are sorting themselves out, but Black Project up the inside of Felix. Maybe. He's got track position.
Well, they're still side by side.
That's hard to go through there side by side.
And they're going into the Sterlings, and Black Project lets him through. At the cost of having VF, my bad, take his position, but he thinks better.
Do you call it a gaggle of cars or a murder of cars? But that rear view was sensational, seeing them all jostling for position.
Either. I call him either.
All right, Big J, run on Budsy there.
Yeah. And Carbon
a little
Boy
bit
too.
wide, he'll lose the run in there to the corner, and that little bit of advantage that he had has evaporated. Rev's right up on the back of Carbon Boy. So
and now we have a 4-car train.
Yeah, a little bit less stressful for him than that sprint race where he was battling a multiple of positions.
And it looks like somebody's off. That's wartime. Looks like he just went wide on the curb and hit the grass.
All right, we'll see if we can catch that. If you can let me know what position he comes back on at.
And he's last.
All right, we'll have a quick run, see if we can capture that replay. Coming in, yeah, just a fraction wide. We spoke about that in the first race. Yep. There's a tyre width leeway there when you go through that. So, yeah, unfortunate for wartime, but he will have time to catch up.
Yes. This time it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is, absolutely. Just get rid of the screen.
And while you were looking at that replay, I think Big J was lining up overtake on Budsy in the back section of the track.
Yeah, certainly coming up to Druids. This is a freight train for the first 4 cars. Bit of a gap back. Just starting to...
side by side with Black Project. A little bit of contact there. Felix stays in 7th. Grovel lines up, or defense, but still keeps the position through there.
Got excited watching the race, guys. Sorry about not having the race info up there, but too much happening for an old bloke. So yeah, the big run down through Pilgrim's Drop up to Hawthorne Bend.
I'd say this section's about commitment and towing the line between a penalty and going off and staying on the track.
Absolutely. And look, Hawthorne Bend, you hold it in fifth. It's all right while the tyres are fresh, but even then it's tricky if you don't get your turn in right.
Yep.
And then Westfield down to fourth. And again, your turn in's critical to just where it all unwinds. And it carries right through then to Sheen's, your momentum.
Yes. In some ways, you could think of it as like a British Willow Springs.
Yeah, absolutely. And also off-track grip is just like Willow Springs, non-existent. We've got Grovel there, just sort of putting the nose in on Laminator, letting him know he's there, but he's also come
And now
under pressure
Felix is
there
putting the
from
nose in on
Felix.
Grovel. Bargy his way through, and I think that's a tap from Black Project. And it looks like they're all keeping it the right way forward.
Which is the main thing there. So live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Plenty of time left in this race. So I think while we stay on this battle pack, anything's likely to happen. But do you want to do a quick run through just on the starting tyres? We get a bit of a feel for the who's doing what as strategy.
All right, gladly. All right, so we'll start with P1. All right, Budsy is starting on the mediums. Big J is starting on softs. Revs is starting on softs. Carbon Boy is starting on the mediums. Laminator, mediums too. Grovel is on the softs. Felix is on the mediums. BF is on the softs. Black Project is on mediums. Magic is on mediums. The Stranger on mediums. Blumcrack on mediums. Greg's on mediums. And Wartime is on medium.
Right,
so yeah.
Very, very interesting mix with...
yeah.
Here we've got Big J, Revs and Grovel on softs. Now, this is going to get really interesting. Are they going to stop around 10 to 13 and switch to mediums for the run home? Or are they doing a two-stop on softs? And that will be spicy.
Yeah. How long is the pit stop here? I haven't checked.
30 odd seconds, I think, from memory. Could be... Yeah, I think it's actually probably even a little bit shorter. It's a very short run-in, but where you have to be careful. There's a bit of a chicane into the pits that you cannot touch that wall. And also, if you're not paying attention on the way out, that exit line will kill your pit stop with a very severe penalty. So Revs on softs, as you would expect, fastest sector there with Big J also on softs at a 1:30.6 fastest lap.
Okay, and it looks like the top four have run away with it so far.
Yeah, so we've got what, two on mediums, two on softs, and P6. Grohl, I think you also said was on softs. So yeah, this will be
a little bit of argy into Sterling there, but no harm, no foul. And Grovel's sizing up an overtake, and he's got Laminator.
Yeah, I think Laminator on that previous lap snuck by him because Grovel was in P5.
Yeah. I think it was due to that little nudge from Black Project earlier.
Yeah. And Grovel's got to do that move too. If Laminator's on and Felix are on mediums, Grovel's got to make the most of the soft because the quick, especially if he's running for a two-stop, you've got to get these lap times nailed in the first sector to cover that extra pit stop.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit of clean air in front of him now. He's 6 seconds, 5.2 seconds adrift to Carbon Boy, who's on mediums, I think it was.
Yes.
So he's been caught up a bit in traffic there. He's get his head down, and I think we'll see that gap come down a little bit.
And it looks like Carbon Boy's drifted away from the front pack. with Big J lining up an overtake, but thinks, nah.
Yeah. You've got to remember, P2 and P3 here, softs first, Budsy on mediums.
Yeah.
And there's, what's that, 5 tenths, pretty much 6 tenths between the first 3.
Yep. Carbon Boy is slowly drifting away.
Yeah.
With a 1.8 second gap.
But again, it's important for these runners in second and third to, if they can, get Budsy and put a gap on him, because every second will count as we get further into the race. The advantage they do have, they're in a fuel saves position on the softs at the moment. As I said, there is time to be made in the pits, but you still need that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, Budsy definitely knows Big J's there.
Yep.
Geez, that pink and black livery is stunning.
Indeed. Stands out from the field.
Yep.
And it looks like Big J's lining up in. Yep. And.
Although I think Budsy's got the run out of there.
Looks like he has.
Yeah,
but then he doesn't have the slipstream.
The 2 lines coming into play there. That outside line, if executed well, has that good exit speed.
It looks like they all duck in for now.
And this is what it looks like inside Big J's car through the back section. And coming up to Sheen's, I think it is. That apex, just, you've got to be brave enough to hit it right, not run out onto the grass, but not take a penalty. And there's a lot of time to be made up in Clark curve up here. Just clipping that inside curb.
And it seems like Laminator has lost quite a bit of time now. With the gap with VF 2.7 seconds ahead. Not sure what happened there.
No, I'll cut back to that. Just see if Big J can do anything under brakes here at Druids.
That's a no.
A bit of tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, just letting you
And
know.
he's got the
Knock up there.
I think we'll stay on this battle because there is nothing in this. Exit speed is going to be the secret here.
Alright. Laminator's got the inside on Madrick. And he's got P9. And now Madrick is vulnerable to a bump crack.
Well, there's a whole train behind there. We've got Bumcrack, Madrick and the Stranger.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like something has happened at the back section with Budsy. With Big J 1 second ahead. And Revs is in the lead.
Wow, battles everywhere. So looking at that losing 3 positions, there's been a slight mistake somewhere, but
2 positions.
Yeah, 2 positions. Yeah, and Revs
and it's about to become 3 soon. Oh, a little bit of argy bargy there.
Yeah, because Revs went from 3rd to 1st there.
Yeah.
So
you better run away with it now. He's on softs.
Yep, and so's Big J.
Yeah.
So that could just be the we're at lap 9. That's just, they've made the right call there to get past. But yeah, would have been interesting to see. Sorry we didn't catch that. But Revs, jumping from 3rd to 1st was a big beneficiary.
And now the top 4 have split into 2 groups of 2 now.
Yeah, still only 2.8 seconds between them. But we've got Carbon and Budsy both on mediums. So again, this will be interesting. Do they pit in lap 15, 16 and split the race in basically 2 halves? Or do they run long and then come home short on softs? Grovel P5, he was almost 6 seconds adrift, so on his run on softs, he's been able to halve that.
Yeah.
And he's bringing Freelix with him.
Who's on mediums?
Grovel is.
Wait, no, Freelix is on mediums.
Freelix is on mediums. Yeah, he's bringing him with him, and Freelix has been like that for the last couple of laps, so in a really good fuel save position.
Yep.
Just go at the front, see what the gap is. So 2 tenths. Big J is not giving up. And as you said, boy, we're going, yeah, they're definitely starting to gap Budsy while these tyres are still fresh.
Yeah.
So 10th lap. If they're 2 stopping, it'll be lap 10 or 11, I think.
Could they run 20 laps on mediums, in theory?
Oh, yeah. 20 laps. There's plenty of fuel to do that. Yeah, I've seen in the various practices, I've seen a combination of 20 laps on mediums or 15. Okay. The guys that run the longer on mediums will go to softs, where the 15 lappers stay on mediums for the second stint. As I said, they are a really good tyre with this car. Very racy, and they hold their times for almost beyond what they should. They can hold good lap times.
They grip up really well, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I think in the last race we saw that at best there was a 2-second lap differential, but that was against guys on fresh softs, to the guys on the worn mediums.
Okay. And it looks
inside.
like...
Now this is hard through Sheen's inside line. Wow.
And he's got him.
He has. Can Revs hold the inside into...
Alright, he stays back.
Sterling's. No,
wise choice.
Yeah, it is a long race.
Well, we're a third into it now. Ooh, Revs goes just a bit wide, with Big J going a bit shallow on the exit.
Yeah, maybe time to duck in behind and grab a bit of slipstream and fuel save.
Yeah, most likely. But Revs is lining up an overtake. He doesn't look like he's wanting to stay in position.
Just have a look back on Grovel's process. Felix has got around him. 4 tenths to the better of him. Nearly a 2-second back to VF. And Black Project has got a 3 to 4 second buffer either side. Lemonator in 9, Bumcrack in 10. Then we've got Madrick in 11. Stranger in 12 and Greg's in 13th. Back to the front. So I'm getting nervous. I want to know what they're doing strategy-wise. So will they pit in this lap? And if they do, what do they put on?
Looks like the top 6 are all on about 50% of fuel.
Yeah, which will get them if they did run short. Sorry, softs for another 10-lap stint. They won't need to fuel. So we've got Big J has pitted.
Yes, he has, with 47%
fuel. Yeah.
Where does he come out? And he looks like he's doing a 2-stop.
2-stop. Is he out on softs?
Yes, he is, and he hasn't fueled up.
Yeah. So he's got the benefit here of a 10-lap stint on soft tyres and lightweight. So this is better than what you do in qualifying.
He's basically running 3 sprint races in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, I think this potentially is a really good strategy. The only thing is he's just got to be careful. He's still got the medium runners that could run another 6 or 7 laps in front of him, or maybe more, 8 laps. So he can't afford to get held up. But with the light car and the new tyres, hopefully he can make quick work of that. So he's right on the back of VF now. We might just kick to the front, see what Revs does. He's 2 seconds up on Budsy. He's coming around Sterling, so he's got a very short run up to Clark Curve and then the pit entrance hard on the right.
Alright, Big J is all over VF right now.
Yeah.
But I think he's too far for...
Revs has gone around again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, that brings... If Big J can get a good run here, that does bring in a bit of an undercut aspect with the fresh tyres. So
Okay.
Yeah, but he's still pulling time out on Budsy, which is important. So he's obviously settled and in the groove. Or the other thing is that he might be doing one stop on softs. How about it's time, with all the chopping and changing, how about we run through and we'll do a tyre and fuel update so we can be a little bit more concise with the viewers.
Indeed. All right, I'll start from
Brought
the
to you
bottom
by
then.
APR Automotive.
Yes, don't forget the plugs.
No, absolutely.
All right, so we'll start with Wartime in last. He is on mediums, with the worst of his tires being the front left with just over half, and his fuel is just under half. All right, going up we have Greg's in a similar position, but slightly better in all aspects in terms of tire and fuel, with his front left being around, like, I'd say 60%, and his fuel being, I'd say, 47, 48.
Yeah, and looks like he's picked up a track limit penalty as well.
Yes. Alright. The Stranger is up next, and it looks like his tires are literally the same as Greg's behind him, and as he overtakes Patrick, he is also in the same situation as Greg's in fuel as well, with just, I'd say, a 47 to 48%. Alright, now we go to Magic, who's about to line up an overtake on the Stranger into Paddock Hill. He's on the mediums as well, with slightly better tire wear than the Stranger, with, I'd say, 60%, like a third of his front left gone, but his fuel is a bit worse, I'd say over 45, but just a bit over 45. Alright. Am I up to next? Bum Crack? With him, his tire situation is, I'd say, the same as Madrick, but his fuel is, I'd say, the worst out of those three. With, I'd say, between, I'd say, like 40%, give or take. With Laminator, his fuel is a lot better than Bumcrack behind him, with, I'd say above 45 but less than 50, and his front left is around 60%. VF, running on the softs, his softs are almost gone, with, let's say, a sixth of it left on his front left, and his fuel is hovering around the 45 to 50% range. Ahead of him is Black Project with just over half on the front left out of his mediums, and with his fuel he's in between, I'd say 35 to 45% of fuel. Grovel is next with his front left's also almost gone on his softs, and so far the worst fuel situation that we've seen, excluding the top 5, and now we go into the top 5. Big J, with a little bit of a side there, he's on fresh new a bit new softs, as expected. He just pitted, and he's just over 25% of fuel. Felix is next with his mediums at around 33% and his fuel around 25%. Carbon Boy his front lefts are around 50%, and his fuel situation is slightly better than Felix, with, I'd say, almost 30%. And now we go to second place, Budsy, with his front lefts being around 50%, but slightly worse than Carbon Boy, and his fuel situation also being the same, with just above 25%, but better than Carbon Boy. And now we have our leader, who is probably overdue a pit stop with, I'd say, what is that? I'd say like an eighth or a ninth of his front left remaining. And his fuel is around 25%.
Yeah, interesting strategy. So this is lap 16 for Revs. So he's done 16 laps on softs. He's split at one stop. It looks like he's going to go softs all the way. So I tried that in practice and I wasn't as quick as Revs at it, so kudos to him. If that's what he does. This is a sensational effort. It's interesting. Budsy's pulled some time out of him at the back end of that stint on softs, and the longer Rev stays out, it's going to be more, of course. But yeah, if he goes in, puts fresh softs and gets cleared, where he comes out on the track will be critical. He can put in some really solid laps to overcome the differential at the other end. So
and it looks like he's coming in.
Yes,
he is coming in.
So be very interesting to see where he comes out in respect to Big J. So we might stay on board with him. Great fuel save there too. Good fuel save.
And Felix is pitting too.
And Felix, yeah.
Grovel's pitting too. And VF.
So we'll stay on board with Big J and just see where Revs comes out in comparison, because Big J's had a really serious undercut of about 6 laps on fresh tyres, and fastest lap of the race, and he's fastest through the first sector. So
alright, now we're getting into the sub 30s. Okay.
So yeah, he's quickly catching Carbon Boy, as you expect. Reasonably good conditions, softs versus
half warm.
Yeah,
mediums.
well, 2/3 warm medium as you get into this stage. So we should see the balance of the medium runners transition through laps 19 and 20.
Okay, Revs has got free air to go fast, I guess.
Yeah, where did he come out at? Position 10?
Position 10.
Yes, 8 seconds. So yeah, Felix behind. So
Magic lines up an overtake. A little bit of push and shove to get on the straightener, and now he's up into P6.
So very tight group there. Basically a half second between 3 runners, and Wartime, he's only 2 seconds adrift. So again, it is anyone's race. And Carbon Boy is only 3 seconds back off Budsy, so they're running a similar strategy, or same strategy potentially. So he's well and truly in the mix here for a podium.
Yeah. But I think that those chances might be a bit slim. I checked his fuel. His fuel situation is slightly worse than Budsy, so, and we all know how bad the fuel fill rate is here.
A bit more real life. At 2 to 3 litres per second. So the most frustrating thing for a driver when you sat on there, you got fresh rubber and you're just watching that fuel just drizzle in. That's about it. But,
I think you got time to read a book at that point.
Yeah, it rewards courage. You know, if you get a good fuel save, you can use your track position. It rewards that effort. So yeah, throws a bit of difference into the mix, I guess. So we'll just see where this point gap. So Budsy, as you'd expect, is under big pressure here from Big J. I think at this lap, if Big J doesn't pass him, you'll see Budsy potentially pit 19 or lap 20. And then Big J needs to get on with it because he's got another pit stop to serve.
Yep.
But if anyone can do this tonight, it's definitely him. He's got pace to burn. So we might go back through and just have a look at the rest of the field. So we got Laminated 12 seconds adrift on Black Project.
And Baumcrack has went straight into the wall after Sterling's. Yeah, not his night, really. Huh.
No, it's not been a happy night for him.
Okay, continue on. Sorry.
No, not been a happy night. But Yeah, so Wartime's caught right up on the back of the Stranger. That gap was about 1.5, 1.8 seconds not that long ago. So he's certainly
showing
pressuring this
his
last
car in
bit.
the mirrors, saying hello, I'm here.
Oh,
And he's a
on
bit
the
off.
grass. Yeah, you don't want to play out there.
And now his tires are dirty, so he has to soldier on for, I'd say, around half a lap.
Through a couple, tricky corners too.
Ooh, not getting the curb there like you want.
So yeah, the Stranger and Madrick, they've been at this pretty much for the whole race. So when you're reading those fuel calculations out, I think these two will be in a good position through the pit stops.
Yeah. Ooh, the Stranger's definitely got a fuel advantage on Madrick. So I'd say he's got a double, just under double.
Yeah, being Doghouse Motorsports, I'm sure that there were some tips given by PD Pops, who did a pretty flash fuel save in the first race. So yeah, I better be in the team room because I need it.
And Big J hasn't passed Budsy yet.
No, it might be one of those percentage games, knowing that Budsy has to pit. And with 47...
Is he lining up an overtake through Sheen?
Yeah, he's through there.
Ooh! And it looks like Budsy's off. And
off, yeah.
Big J, yeah.
Yeah, Budsy did very well to...
recover.
To actually, to hold that. That is a very tricky spot.
And I think he's probably going to pit here.
Oh, definitely going to make the most of a lap that's been compromised like that.
And Carbon Boy and Budsy are coming in. Carbon Boy with 4% and Budsy at 7%.
Yeah, because one thing Big J will need to be careful on is he's got to run 9 or 10 laps. And from memory, he only had 47% fuel. So
yeah,
now he's out on
the
his
red
own.
now.
You've got that... I guess the compromise between the lap speed that you need to pull another pit stop and your fuel save to get home, to get to that lap 20 mark, 21.
Yeah. And as Wartime lines up an overtake on the Stranger, it's a paddock hill. They're still side by side as they go into Druids. Are they still going to stay side by side? Ooh, a little bit of nudging there.
Sorry,
and there's still a bit of overlap. Ooh. Bit of contact there, and it looks like Wartime's got the position, and he's a little bit off.
Dirt. So
and he's got
two lines into this corner. Can the Stranger fight back? He's a little bit wider. He'll get a great run out of here, right in the slipstream.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if a overtake into Hawthorns is a good idea.
No, it's. Well, to the brave it might be, but I find it one line, and if you don't get the apex right, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll continue to sort themselves out, but the Stranger's not giving up here.
And Big J comes in with no fuel at all.
No. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. He got 10 laps, and that was it.
And Black Project is coming in with 7%.
Yeah. So Rev's come from nowhere there. Through on the Stranger,
and I think he might still come out in the lead because Magic is pitting.
Okay, let's stay on board with Revs. Stranger's in, which is lap 21. This is where the medium runners will come in.
Okay, I stand corrected. Revs is in the lead now.
Yeah.
Okay, with a...
So Big J's come out...
3-second
gap.
Okay.
I've got to say, this is great driving by Revs, who went 16 laps on a set of softs.
Yes.
He's on softs now, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah. So one stop on softs. I would have thought Big J had a huge undercut with that second stint. But, yeah, Revs has done really, really well.
Yep. And I think we might see a dogfight in the final laps.
I think so, yeah. Fuel comparison between the two cars, first and second.
Okay. Revs has got slightly more than Big J. So I think Big J might be going for a light fuel save.
Yeah. So, look, he's as I said, he's a very fast driver. So he's got natural pace even with the fuel save. So yeah, I think it'll be on. Greg's in P3, but I'm pretty sure he still has to pit.
Yep.
And then we've got Budsy 6.7 seconds back. But you've got to remember, Budsy and Carbon would now be on softs.
Alright, Greg's comes in. Let's see if this strategy of going very long has worked.
Yep. Have we got Budsy and Carbon on softs? Softs, not socks.
You raced last time. Budsy and Carbon, yeah, they're on softs.
Yeah, so if they've got the, if they've fueled up well and carrying more fuel than the first two, that 6.9 second gap can come down, and we're already seeing Budsy put his fastest lap in for the race. So anything can happen. We'll look back at Carbon Boy and Grovel, 1.1148 seconds thereabouts, but Grovel's done well out of that pit stop sequence. So he was a little bit further back on Carbon Boy, so whether he's had good in and out lap or just a bit of a different fuel load. But yep, very good position. We'll quickly kick back and look at VF. Only 1.4 to the arrears of Black Project, so certainly within fighting range. We've then got Freelix in P8. I'm not sure what happened there, whether he's taken on a bit more fuel or he's had a bit of a moment, a bit of mischief somewhere. Madrick and Laminator, and yes, basically a couple of seconds either way, but Madrick and the Stranger have joined at the hip for this race. And Bumpcrack in P12, Wartime is rapidly catching him, so that little bit of a bobble they had before the pits unfortunately cost Wartime a fair bit, and Greg's in P14, one of the last to stop. So we go back to the front. So Revs has been able to hold that gap reasonably well. He's dropped 5 tenths or thereabouts.
Yeah.
But on similar fuel, it will be hard, unless Big J can save more and turn the differential the other way, it's going to be pretty hard for him to put the foot down.
Yeah.
We saw what happened in the first race with one of the Switchblade cars. Put the foot in for those last few laps, the fuel position very quickly turns to negative.
Yeah.
And as
It's like
we
an
talk,
on and off switch in this.
oh yeah, definitely. The trouble here, you've got such long straights, and you know, just when you're really wanting to fuel save, you're just watching that car catch you in your mirrors. That perhaps is a little bit more towards the full mark on the tank. So we'll go back and see how Grovel and Carbon were going. So being able to hold their station there, and
like
the same back to Black Project.
Yeah.
Look, I think lap 25, we should just fire up just a quick tyre and fuel update, just to see if there's any major differences as we flick through the cars.
All right, I'll start from the very top.
And I didn't need to transition the slide. I've had it on for about 5 or 10 laps.
Okay, here we go. Alright, so we have P1 with Revs, with the worst of his tires being his front left at just about 50%, and his fuel, I'd say, is just over 30%. P2 with his Big J, with his tires being much fresher than Revs, given that he pitted later, with his front lefts being at around an eighth tire wear, and his fuel is slightly worse than Revs, I'd say, being just under 30%. Budsy's up next, his fuel position is, I'd say, in the middle between Big J and Revs, with his tires being slightly worse than Big J, with, I'd say, a bit more slightly worse wear in comparison. Carbon Boy is next with the same fuel position as Big J, so in between Revs. Wait, my bad. Carbon Boy is in the same fuel position as Budsy, in between Revs and Big J, and his softs are, I'd say, slightly worse out of second, third, and fourth. Rubble's up next with his front lefts on his softs being under 50%, and his fuel being around 30%, just under 30%. Black Project is the same with his fuel, but his tires are a lot better, with his tires being at around 20% worn. VF is next. His front lefts are just under 50%, with his fuel being at around, I'd say, 40%. Felix in P8 has a slightly better tire wear, with his front lefts being at around 50 to 60%, and his fuel is just about to cock up to 25%. Laminator in P9, his fuel is just exactly 25%, and his tires are just under a third worn.
And under huge pressure from Madrick and the Stranger.
Yes, indeed. Madrick's fuel situation is a bit better than Laminator, as Laminator defends. Madrick is just ticked over to 25% fuel left, and his tires are around under 20%, give or take. The Stranger is next. His tires are slightly worse than Madrick's, with his being, I'd say, 24% worn, and his fuel situation is the same as Madrick, with 25% left. Bumcrack is next, 25% fuel as well, and his mediums are, his worst is his front left, being at around under a third, just under a third. Wartime is behind him, with just under 25% fuel left and about the same amount worn for his softs. And then Greg's is at the back with, I'd say, probably the worst fuel out of the field, but his tires are around, let's say, a quarter-ish.
No worries. Thank you for that. Thank you, APR Automotive, for the tire and fuel update. For the extra airtime, direct transfer via Oscar will be fine, mate, for the advertising rates. But we are now back to a race screen, and I've just, for those last few calls, I've kept the stream on P1 and P2. The gap's down to under 2 seconds. Yeah, and look, I think fuel aside, you've got to remember that Revs went on to softs at the end of lap 16, and this is where you're seeing Big J. He's got tyres that are 5 laps fresher.
Side.
Yep. Up through Hawthorne.
And they stay side by side with a bit of overlap, but Revs keeps the position.
Big J's just backed out of it. This is very, very respectful racing.
I think we have quite a few small battle packs about to form, given that there's just over 3 laps remaining in this race.
Yeah, I can see 3 different groups back behind the leader, so we'll just see how this one transpires, and then we'll very quickly flick through. So I think Big J is really strong up once you get through Druids, or into Druids, and down through to Surtees. So we'll see if he can hold, if he can capitalise here.
Looks like he thinks better of it. And is it a switchback? No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Tried.
Had that door been a bit wider, he might have muscled his way in touring car style.
He's got the inside. Oh no, I thought he was saying the inside. He's taking the wider line. He'll cut back. He's looking for the exit speed.
But I think Revs
On the
might
throttle
be able
early.
to park it.
Just trying to use those fresher tyres to his advantage. But geez, these cars are evenly matched. He's got a bit of a run there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the straight's just not long enough for him. But I've got to say,
Oh, a little bit of
Revs
a
hanging
love
on
tap
to
to
these
Revs.
tyres. There, wow. He's doing a sensational job. We'll just quickly go
holding
back.
on.
So yeah, similar gap back, Budsy and Carbon Boy. So that's definitely on there. We'll keep an eye on that. Back to...
And Big J's up on the inside with a bit of a bump from Revs, and he spun.
Oh,
And I think Big J's looking to redress.
yeah.
He is
I'll
looking
just
to
see
redress.
if we can capture that. Where does he come
Okay.
out? P4?
P4. And I think he's going to be P3, given that Big J is slowing down to allow him to catch up.
Sorry, get the replaying game. Wrong screen, guys, but we'll catch what's happened.
Okay.
Just switch to the inside.
And now Revs has gotten P3.
Yeah, not
Big
sure
J
if there was
redressing.
a touch
stuff.
there or it just run a little bit wide. Bearing
Yeah.
in mind his tyres were...
Yeah. Shot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Very hard.
And it looks like our pole sitter is now in the lead.
In the lead, yep.
Carbon Boy has an opportunity if the stars align.
Yeah, and look, you see the position 3 and 4, that's the redress by Big J, and the replay wasn't conclusive, but it's great to see drivers, when there's doubt, redress. It's a Sector 1 ethos, and yeah, really important, and puts
And that's Big
sportsmanship
J.
ahead of results. Yeah.
And as Big J tries to overtake Revs into the, what was it called? Hawthorns, he thinks better of it, but is now very slow and is overtaken by Black
by
Project.
Black Project.
Okay. Alright, now we're going
A
into
very
the...
solid drive by Black Project as well, so
Yeah.
always has speed and always good with fuel.
Alright, now we're going into the final lap with Budsy in the lead and Carbon Boy around half a second behind.
So see what Carbon Boy can do here. He's a very fierce competitor. So up through Druids, carrying a little bit more corner speed, so we'll get a good exit.
Oh, and he's got a good run.
Oh,
He has
definitely
got a good run on
there.
Budsy. I'd say his chances down this back straight into
Definitely
Hawthorns.
on the throttle early there, and
Yeah.
in slipstream, but it's a long straight, but it's not with for Hawthorn coming up.
Yeah.
It's quite deceiving.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
a
had a
bit of a
look,
nudge.
bit of love taps on the back.
Yep. And I'd say he's got 2 more chances. One at Sterling and one at Clark. Oh, got that a bit wrong there.
Yeah. So that's given Budsy a pretty solid gap with only one
Yes.
corner to go to get onto Bratham Straight.
You better get this right or else Carbon Boy's all over him. And he does get it right.
Clips that inside curb. So only 5 tenths between first and second place. But well done, Budsy Blaze. Great win.
Budsy
Carbon
takes the
Boy,
win.
very good second.
And
We've
Big
got
J.
Big J has got Black Project back after the redress.
And just out of
P3.
fuel.
Oh, he's out of fuel. And did
Yeah,
Revs get him?
Revs.
Revs got him
And-
on the
And Black
line.
Project, I think, was out of fuel too.
Yeah, I
Grovel P6.
gave him the curse. I said he was good on fuel. Grovel in 6th, Felix in 7th, VF
Patrick
in 8th.
P9.
Wow. That was a surprising result given where the race was going up to couple of laps to the end. But look, in racing, incidents occur, and the redress was great to see. But
Yeah. We love to see
we'll
it.
get the results up, and
And
then we'll
as the
talk
stranger
about.
comes in,
We'll debrief the race and talk about drive of the day. But
the stranger
I
comes
don't
in,
know what to
and
say
the
there.
Greg's is out of fuel.
VF. I'll get back to the. So we got VF, Madrick, Laminator, Mr. Bumcrack. I think the stranger was in there somewhere. We'll get to the results. Okay. Wow. Get my breath back after 3 hours of
Streaming.
looking at the screen. Budsy Blaze P1, top step of the podium. Just have a look at the fastest lap times, guys, on the right-hand side. They were all on the money at any given time in the race. But Budsy in P1, second step on the podium, Carbon Boy, really solid drive, capitalised on the opportunities that were presented to him. Big J, after a bit of a mishap with Revs, P3, Revs in P4, Black Project P5. Sixth place is Grovel. These two, Black Project, Grovel and Freelix, were never out of it, often into it through the whole race. Only 7 seconds adrift. Freelix in P7, VF in P8, solid drive there. Madrick in 9th, had a few hiccups in the race, but a great recovery to get 9th. He was running at 13th at one stage. Lemonator in 10, Bumcrack in 11, Wartime in 12. We've got Stranger in 13 and Greg's rounding out the field. So, mate, your thoughts?
Whoops. I'd say just under absolute cinema.
Yeah, look, I thought the race was, like I said, it had that excitement at the end, but and it was good to see the drivers who had positioned themselves that if anything did go wrong, they were ready to pounce, just running in that P3 to P5 space. Really great capitalising. It was great to see the racecraft on display. There were a few moments there, but generally pretty respectful driving around a track like Brands. It bites you if you get it wrong. And in both races tonight, it certainly did that to a few of the competitors. So your thoughts on drive of the day, mate?
I'd say the driver... I'd say... Black Project. He was like... He had a very, I'd say, under-the-radar drive, but yet he finished in the top 5. I mean, I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Certainly the way he came there, just a bit misfortunate with the fuel at the end of it. But, excuse me one second. But I've got to say, I really liked the driver today on Rev's strategy to one stop on softs, but to hold a lap speed at the end of each stint that was comparable to his competition, both on softs and mediums. I thought that was an excellent effort. Early in the piece in our team running, I did a one stop on softs, and I can guarantee you the times were nowhere near what Revs was doing at the end of the stints. I was into the 34s. So he did a really good job there. I'll just quickly go through the comments on stream. So we've got driver of the day for Revs. Adam, driver of the day, Garden Boy, who, as he really capitalised on great race position. Big J, Sportsman, and best lap. Wade, driver of the day, Revs. Prospector, driver of the day for the 2 soft stints, Revs. Look, I think with that and, just what Revs did and a bit unlucky at the end. He may have clipped the grass. There might have been a little bit of contact, but that's for another day. But, I think he was a little bit unlucky there. But, I'll get to the point. Revs, driver of the day for me. So I think
fair enough.
We'll give it to him. So wrap up. It's been a long the 2 race quality and 2 race series 2 formats. Puts a few intermissions in there, so it is a bit of a long stream for everyone. But that wraps up our Cat 2 Group A and B races tonight. Boy, thank you, mate, for race directing tonight and
no
your invaluable help with the commentary. Much appreciated. And look, thank you to everyone watching. Again, please hit that like and subscribe.
And turn on notifications as well.
Yeah, turn on notifications. Still got 16 watching. If you're watching and interested in joining Sector 1, at the bottom of the YouTube thing, there's a Discord link. Get in there, say hello to the Sector 1 team. And more to come next Saturday night, 8th of March. We'll be running round 3 of the community series. Just it's staggered a week apart just to give a bit of a catch up to the main series.
Yes.
And next Sunday night, 9th of March, we return to Brands Hatch.
Category 1.
Category 1, Group A and B drivers.
Yes.
It'll be, we've seen some great racing tonight, but the Cat 1 guys really turn it on. Same
guys,
feature
go
format.
slower.
yeah. Same. Well, I hope they go slower. Same feature format that we saw tonight. And yeah, it will be really on. And I'm sure Brands Hatch, home of Ironheart Racing and resident Tour Ghost, will certainly equalise the field. So thank you. We look forward to catching up with everyone then. Good night. Stay safe. And thank you very much for joining Sector 1 tonight. Cheers, guys.
Have a good night, y'all.